5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They've landed.
You're in the right place. Online, on the web, and on air. All over the world.
Talk Radio.
You hear us, we hear you.
Yeah, good evening everybody and welcome to the show. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. My name's Suzanne.
And I'm Steve.
He's awake this week.
I'm going to sleep now.
And if you've just joined us, unfortunately, due to a live stream error, unfortunately, we are on Ustream this week. And I'm hoping everything goes well. We are recording it.
Can I ask a quick question?
What's that?
Due to all the kerfuffle, have you pushed the record button?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Easy to forget when you've got lots of kerfuffle going on.
I know, it is easy to forget. The recording is going. So, right, ladies and gentlemen, on tonight's show, we have Chris Andrews and Emma Knight and Michaela Bowden in the hub with us tonight. And later on, we will be talking to Andy Mercer, and he sent me some EVPs and stuff, so we'll be talking to him about them. Okay, and so we've not had a bad week, have we, Steve?
No, not bad at all. I'm just saying hi to PJ in the
we have room. PJ in the chat room. We have Emma Louise, who's in the chat room as well as sitting here. So, hi to Emma.
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, I'm on.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
And we have Chris here. So, Chris, you can say hello now.
Hello now. Hiya, P.
So,
J.
Yeah. Yes, going back to your original question, we had a decent week. We had some nice sunshine while we were relaxing in the garden. It's the first time for a long time.
Yes.
And then it just rained. And then just when we had the housewarming party on Friday, it peed down.
Yes, it did.
And everybody got wet.
So I'm hoping we're coming over loud
Well, Chris
and clear.
did every time we went out for a cigarette anyway.
As I say, I've never used Ustream before, so I'm hoping everything's fine, and that you can hear us okay.
Yeah. But
I know that we know there's a 15-second delay.
Yeah, but it's just like it is on TV.
Yeah. So as I say, thankfully this is sitting here. It's something that I made. That I joined a while ago, so it was good to have it in the background somewhere. But fingers crossed, everything goes okay. We still haven't come through on live stream, but we won't be going back on there tonight.
No, not tonight.
So, but as I say, I just hope that I might as well shut that down then, haven't I, Steve? Do you reckon?
I'm gonna keep it on. I'm gonna keep checking every now and again.
Right. Okay.
Just in case people have a problem, because they can still go in the chat room, can't they?
Yeah, but I can shut mine down, can't I?
Okie dokie.
Okay, we'll shut that down. So 1 2 1 2. Hello. Something's happened. What happened?
I don't know what you've done.
I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have shut it down.
No, because you've gone into what's it?
I've gone into what's it?
It's playing the TV film thing, so you can't shut it down, I'm afraid.
No, I don't know why that's going to be confirmed on there.
Otherwise people can't see what the problem is.
No, that's weird. 2 seconds, we'll be back.
Well, we shall talk amongst ourselves while... Right, Mr. Chris, what thou's been doing, lad?
Oh, well, that's been busy, Cock. You know.
Has thou been very busy?
That's been scouting country looking for ghosts, then knows.
I hear you went to Pendle.
That's went to Pendle last night, tried local brew.
Did you find the witches?
No, but I felt a bit spirited back tender at night.
I bet you did rule them pints with witches on glasses.
Me.
It were great.
This is weird, right?
It is it?
It was in Pendle.
Why, what's happened?
Well, I shut down live stream, which
it back.
meant we couldn't do anything. As I say, you couldn't hear us. Okay, I'm assuming.
Well, they couldn't hear us through live stream anyway.
No, well, this is what I can understand. They're supposed to be hearing us through Ustream.
Which they are.
But as soon as I shut down live stream, I wasn't getting the volume counter coming up when I spoke. So I'm really confused.
Well, I'm hearing mine and Chris's conversation right now.
So hopefully you're back with us. There is a delay. I don't know. This is going to be one of them nights, isn't it? Fright night. It is a fright night.
We are actually live on both of them at the present time.
What? What?
We are actually running both at the present time.
And there's no time like the present time.
Live stream and Ustream. We are running them both together.
Now I'm confused.com.
Maybe it's because you closed it down. It kind of reset.
Well, if I do,
Maybe it's because I'm a Londoner.
if I mute that one and see what's coming through that one. Yep, we got sound on that one as well.
Well, I'm going to leave it on then and just hope for the best. So
We'll have to keep monitoring it then.
yeah,
Okay, where you go?
it's going to be one of them nights, ladies and gentlemen. One of them nights. I can't even get on my one. I can't even get the due to a live stream error off. So
Yeah, PJ just said all back now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to stay here on Ustream.
yeah, we're going to stay on Ustream. But if anyone's listening on live stream, then we'll have to keep swapping back.
We will monitor.
Yeah, we will monitor. So this is going to be one of them nights. So how's your weekend been? Your weekend been since Friday?
Great.
Great.
It's been great, mate.
As you.
Yeah, now it's really, right, great, yeah. We wet a penguin all.
Yeah.
Don't know why I'm talking like I am.
I don't know either.
I don't know. I think it's when I picked up the spirit I was possessed, and I've not been myself, really, since then. Since
You've
I
not
was
been
possessed.
feeling yourself.
No, it's,
That makes a change.
I think I picked up on a spirit called Norman.
Norman.
Yeah, I think it's with me now.
Right.
'Cause I don't feel quite right. I just want to wear flat caps all the time, and I want to go back to Pendle. I don't know what's going on.
dear.
It was that witch's brew. It put a spell on me.
Anyway. So what's the time limit on that one then, Steve?
It's 2:15.
2:15.
Yeah, 5'3".
There's still quite a time limit out on that live stream, isn't there? I am confused. I really am.
It's got a button missing.
I'm blaming Michaela.
It's got a,
Yeah, why not? Yeah, Michaela's fault. There we go.
Michaela's fault.
it is, yeah. Did you know he's got a button missing?
Oh, well, I can see it back now.
Norman.
Oh, what? This is weird.
How about that?
Yeah.
We're having a paranormal moment out there,
at
ladies
least
and
you're
gentlemen.
getting to
Paranormal
what's
moment.
name. So
I got them both up.
we're having a weird night tonight. We couldn't get live stream up because we couldn't get something was going on. We've gone over to Ustream. Now we're on Newstream. Live stream's back, but I don't know what's going to happen with live stream. So we're just going to record as usual. It is twice the fun. Steve, is going to be monitoring both chat rooms just in case somebody comes in.
Yeah, well, Emma's got one as well.
Yeah, no problem. Right, so anyway, tonight we'll do the observations a bit later on, okay, Emma?
Okay.
So, but tonight I think we've got a really good topic to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, we was talking on Friday night, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first of all,
As things
let's
occur.
start this from the beginning. How long have you been in the business now, Chris?
Club Zero, it's been going 11 years. I was doing a bit before that.
Right.
I was in a former group
Yeah.
before this current one.
Yeah.
I was doing little bits before that, so it's been quite a few number of years. Yeah, but you probably, I don't know, played to get 12, 13 years probably in total, maybe.
Yeah.
It's, life sentence.
Yeah. Well, and over the years, how have you seen the paranormal change, the paranormal community, for want of a better word?
It's a weird concept. I mean, like you say, we were talking about it, because in the early days, it's changed dramatically.
Yeah.
Massively dramatically. I mean, but it's changed in so many different ways. Some parts of it are for the good. Some parts of it, I think, are not for not so good. In the early days, there wasn't that many groups around in the early days, so and there's a lot of people out there who was around then, who are still around now.
Yeah.
Would understand what I'm saying. The paranormal community was far more into competition with each other. You couldn't look at each other's websites, and everybody else wanted to know where you were going, and you didn't advertise it because somebody was trying to pinch you, and all that. And that's how it used to be. And I think everybody was trying to get the name in the light. So maybe at some stage, we're trying to find the first poltergeist activity before someone else.
Yeah.
And it sort of came like that, and then groups started working together, and more groups started forming. Obviously, people leave organisations and go on, create their own, and things like that, join others. So as more started popping up, it became a bit more unity within the community. Groups started working together. They were participating on investigations together. They have joint forces, and we've done a few in the early days, joint forces. And it's good, and everybody seems to leave everybody alone. So, and then what happens then? Your drawbacks then is that the general public tend to leave you alone as well.
Yeah.
So then you've got all these groups. At one time, we were filling coaches up. Probably like yourselves and other groups out there, 50-seater coaches, having a reserve list, turning them away. Now I'm lucky if I can get them on the back of a push bike. Really, in this day and age. But there's that many, and I think personally, looking at things, we are on the verge in some respects of coming full circle, going back to as it were. So you know what I mean. Obviously, things was tight in the days where the competition was quite big, and then the unity formed, and then obviously you've got the unity still going on today. Like we're doing this now, but there's groups out there now who started kind of sort of interlinking the old ways of the competition and and things like that, and sort of reinstigating that. And I think it's in danger of going back that way. And as new groups form, that's what they'll learn and understand, and that's what they're going to initiate. What's that mean?
Initiate, I think.
Well, thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
I mean, it wasn't that long ago there was something on the internet that was could have caused a possible menace to this community, and it had to take a few organisations to sort of try and get that remedied before it caused problems to other people. So it's just a case of it's changed dramatic, really, as I think.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think, Kayla?
Yeah, I think you need a microphone, love.
Yes.
Yeah, you're not throwing your voice that well. Go on.
Go on.
Talk to us. Into the mic, please.
Into the mic.
As far as the technology is concerned, I think we should go back to the basics. I mean, I don't know what equipment, we did used to use back then, but I think the more technology that we've got now, it just doesn't work anymore, does it?
It overcomplicates things.
Exactly. There's so many interferences, can it be this, can it be that? And I think maybe, we should go back to
the old school.
How we all started.
You'd be involved yourself in the old days, where you'd be involved in paranormal investigations, and then suddenly you wouldn't be around or whatever, and then if you turned up at any, you'd probably feel a bit awkward, or you felt a bit alienated. So obviously at some stage you felt accepted, and then you felt a bit alienated to some degree. And I mean, so obviously, and now it's gone from the alienated to being over accepted now, isn't it? It's the boots change around. So you've seen all them different elements. So you've so what do you think on that?
I can't remember when I first started doing the investigations. I mean, as far as the technology was concerned, I couldn't remember, what we did actually use. My first piece of equipment that I used was dowsing rods, and I loved them.
Can you speak more into the mic, please, Michaela? No good trying to hide it because we can't hear you very well, you see. And all those people out there on YouTube would like to hear you.
Can I just say, on and off, there's an advert coming on Ustream.
Is there?
Yeah, that Paul Jackson's just picked up on. So I think that's because it's not a premium one.
Yeah.
As it stands at the moment, it is working on live stream. So maybe we should stay on there.
I'm fine with either.
Yeah, I know, but stay there, Bill. But that's what I'm thinking. Just they last for 2 minutes. They're lasting for 2 minutes. So I think, PJ, do you want to go back over to live stream, babe? I think that would be better, seeing as it's there. But keep this one on the back burner just in case.
Okay, I'll put on here.
So hopefully Bill will stay there. Hopefully. Stay there, Bill. But we'll try and revert everybody back. So sorry, carry on. What you were saying?
What was I saying?
I don't know. I was looking at that.
Oh,
How
yeah.
back it used to be very clicky.
Clicky.
Yeah, lots of clicks.
yeah. Oh, exactly. That's exactly how it were. I mean, I've seen it, and there's people out there seeing it, and I know you've seen it, Michaela. And everybody out there, I think, has had their fair share of it. People who have started up, these days, the new organisations probably haven't seen all that, but they probably will do. Because I think, looking at the way things are, there seems to be a bit of it's in danger of changing. I think a bit. So, and everything they always say, everything goes around full circle, or history repeats itself. I think you'll always get your organisations that have bonded. You're always going to get your organisations that are going to stay in unity, but you're always going to get the other side that are going to start slamming you down for it. That's why I think, and because obviously you might get organisations out there who might be jealous to the fact that you've been to places they can't go, or or you got better equipment than them, or they've got better equipment than you. There's different scenarios, isn't there?
There is. I mean, I think one of the things people have a problem when people start talking about unity, and I hesitate to add that we don't do that. We just wanted to share everything with everybody. But when people start talking about unity, somebody always wants to be the head honcho and be in charge of it all. You know what I mean?
That's it. It should. I mean, people who do that, I don't think that the program to the point that they're actually looking for paranormal phenomena.
No.
In the true aspects of what it's meant to be looked for, because I think people lose the way across they tend to lose themselves across the time.
Yeah, I mean, we found when we first started, people wanted fame. That's what it was about.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, even when we started the KTPF, we had a couple of people joined us and then tried to take over. And one person that even started getting people to email him instead of us.
All right.
And it's like, go away. If you're going to do that, start your own, which he did. Which
what you got to look at,
lasted about 5 minutes.
You're still here doing what you're doing,
Yeah.
So and there's organisations out there who have been doing things in the right way. They're still here doing what they're doing.
It's been a long road on the KTPF, and to be honest, we're still struggling. People are not doing what we'd like them to do and what we hoped them to do. I mean, our hope was to get everybody to share information on the website so everybody can see it on different venues and stuff. Just so people can go after they've been there themselves. They can go back and see if there's a link that both groups got or whatever.
There's a locations database in there which is only for the founder of the group, which gives information on contact details and everything else, where we also want people to add their recommendations as well, but it hasn't done that. You know what I mean? There hasn't been it hasn't been as successful as I thought it was. This turned out to be one up from a chat room, because when Zone Unknown finished in Peterborough, in Liverpool, we thought we'd do something similar just to fill that gap until hopefully Roy Basnick came back with it. But he never did. Somebody else took over with a different name. But so we carried on with the format. But
and I hasten to ask, it wasn't as good as the original format.
But it's a good way of bringing people to, I mean, what you guys do. I mean, obviously, I've been here a good few times now. I mean, I'm probably part of the equipment here now. And it's a lot. And I see obviously what people see on the webcam there, on the camera, or what they hear via the audio that we're giving here. Obviously, behind the scenes to get it all set up, it's a lot of work to do.
Yeah,
it's a lot of research to do. Looking for guests, and there's topics of conversations, and then you've got people coming in, and it's all formulated together to try and bring people together. So that gives them that work. I mean, people sit at home and think, I wish there was something that we could just all do together, and it's just like one glove where everybody can fit into it.
Yeah, I think we've been doing something wrong.
Why?
Because PJ's been coming on and listening to us for quite a while now, and he's just said that he didn't know you were able to add to the site, add to the database.
Well, if you look on, from what I remember, It does, if you read the front page.
I mean, you do have to actually become part of it.
Yeah, it says plus showcasing other groups, blah blah blah. We do that. Affectionately referred to. Hold on, there is something.
There's something there.
At the beginning, it says about it, dedicated to with growing topics, incorporating historical whatever, location database. No hidden, but all information is free. But you must have a genuine website. Remember, this site's for you. Add your forthcoming events free at Paranormal Events for you. So yeah, when you go into the forum, it does tell you a little bit more about it. But
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
In your opinion, I mean, you guys have been around. I mean, we've been around for a few years. You guys have been around for a few years, so you've seen and you've been, you've been there, you've lived it. You've seen the changes in the situations in the community yourselves.
Yeah.
What do you think, lies ahead for organisations like yourself, like us, like other people out there in the chat room and other people out there? How do you find it's going to be in the long? Do you think there's lights at the end of the tunnel, or do you think there's going to be a bit of a cave in?
I really don't know, to be honest with you.
It's difficult, isn't it?
It is difficult to answer that question.
I think there's going to be a cave in.
Yeah.
I think.
It's a bit like karaoke. It's going to die off.
I mean, at one point, there were so many groups. It was in.
Yeah.
You could
they were coming up every week, weren't they?
Every week there was a new group, and they were all being. I mean, there was one started recently, and one lady said she'd been with them for years. I'm thinking, hang on, you've only just started. How can you be with them for years?
Yeah. So
I don't see the concept of having to keep making new groups. I mean, I'm not against groups. I mean, I can't turn around and say, "Hey, we're the only groups, or we should be the only groups there." You're not. You shouldn't be setting them up. But people should think, well, if I want to join an organisation, I only have to put it in Google, and there's going to be about 50 or so in your town alone. It's just going to pop up. So I don't understand. Well, exactly. There's that many, and because there's that many, there's more. Resources are becoming thinner because they're getting stretched thinner between everybody like that, and so data it gets mixed up along the way because you get, unfortunately, you do get organisations out there who really don't know that much about too much, and they lose or they get the data mixed up, and then the reports get sky wonkified, and so people. 1 second, Emma. Sorry, and all that type of thing, and I think the resources that's left get stretched, or obviously you get organisations that create. I mean, last night, I was out and around trying to get investigations while we was out, drinking, and I shouldn't be doing that. I was drinking, and the venue said that they used to be interested in having paranormal investigators, but they're not interested anymore. They said they don't believe in it. They get inundated with thousands of paranormal organisations, and sometimes when you get thousands doing that, they think, oh, you know what, this is doing my head in this, and they pull the plug on it.
Yeah.
Or you get organisations. I remember we did an investigation a few years ago. Nobody had ever been there. We did this investigation. Some of the group who I knew quite well, they went. And when I rung back to go and do the investigation again, because they said we could go back, they said, you and no other group will ever get in this establishment again. Oh, right, okay. Why? So because the last group that we had in did something so bad, they'll never let anybody in again. And what they were doing, they were stealing all the artifacts, the coins, It was all seen on camera because they got their internal camera systems. They were stealing coins. There was mucking about. There was just... I can't swear, can I? But there was doing things that they shouldn't have been doing, dancing around, defacing the property that was in there, and so and left, and everybody got bad.
We've lost two venues because of stupidity.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. We the first one we lost was RAF Hampton, which was a brilliant place up in Hull, and they stopped it for a while because damages were broken because too many people went in, and then after a while they decided to just let one group in. Then there was one in Liverpool where a group went upstairs into the attic, which they shouldn't have done, and apparently broke a water pipe, and it went into the office area and ruined all the laptops. So that killed another, But it's just beyond belief where people go into places and people are following in their footsteps. It does ruin it for the community.
Well, it does, it does. But I mean, nobody is in a position to obviously to tell anybody, hey, we shouldn't be starting groups up. But I think, I think people should actually take a look at things maybe before starting the groups up and thinking, well, if I want to get into this type of thing, maybe there's about 50 in my area, or there's what I might do is I might float around from group to group and I'll learn different things from different organisations until I feel confident. If I feel the need to create another organisation, then fair enough, but then I've got accumulated on my data, I know what I'm up to then. If not, you can just enjoy it. There's that many to a part. Sorry, I mean, you wanted to say something?
I was going to say, most of the new groups that you see starting up, they're not groups, they're not investigators. They're Fright Nights, they're events companies.
Yeah.
They're making money. It's for profit.
There is a lot of that.
There is a lot of that. The proper investigation groups, people just doing it just because they're interested in it. They want to prove, they want to get evidence, and they want to do things properly. They're a lot smaller number now, and it's been the whole. I don't know, the whole area, the whole paranormal community. I suppose it's oversaturated now with these profit groups.
It's like shops on the high street, isn't it?
Yeah.
You look at a paranormal organisation as a butcher's shop.
Yeah.
Take the butcher's shop or the tobacconist.
Yeah.
They're disappearing, and they're all being formulated in supermarkets. Supermarkets sell all them, but you won't see a butcher's shop selling mobile phones and tobacco. So it's that type of thing, and they're incorporating everything and pushing the person out.
Yeah, but if you notice, the events groups are starting to disappear.
They are, because
it's only the original ones that are still going.
Yeah.
The early ones are still going because they've come through with a good format, a reliable way of doing things.
Yeah.
And whereas the new ones are just in it for the money.
Well, see, in that industry.
And also, just 1 second on that thing you said about thousands of people contacting venues. That is why a lot of venues suddenly started saying, well, you're the group that does here, but you can hire it out, but they have to go through you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So they didn't. So they still got the money, but they didn't have all the hassle of having to talk to people.
So in that industry, there's been the paranormal. The idea behind, obviously, the average organisation is to accumulate data of the paranormal. Is to find out, to try and get, obviously, as you know, get the answers, correlate the answers, put it out there. Is there life after death? Is there more to who we are? Can we advance ourselves? And it's still a nice to explain question. But then you've got those out there, i.e., who do these event type of things. It's got nothing to, as far as I'm concerned, and they're probably listening out there. They can write to me if you want to write to me and they want to complain. I don't care, because I'll stand by it. There is them out there who are not interested in the paranormal. It's money, it's business, and that's all they want. They want business. They want people in, as many as they can get in. They want bums on seats, and when your money's get in your pocket, they charge ridiculous prices.
Yeah.
As soon as you get your money, off you go. And in that type of situation, it becomes a business, and it can't survive. That's why
there's just too many.
Because you can't run a business forever on that. It's not a productive business. People get bored.
It's not reliable, is it? It's not.
No, it's not.
Secure income.
Exactly.
So that's why they collapse, and then you'll see another group. For every group that collapses, 5 more pop up.
But then what happens to the venue? The venue becomes greedy then, because they think, we're used to making thousands and thousands of pounds. Yeah. It's corrupted the venue. Yeah. It's corrupted the community. People are then left and those people who are attending these things, even though they've had a good time to start with, and then obviously somebody, that's how they expect it to be. So then when they come to somebody like ours, yours, or whoever else's group, they expect it to be on a similar level. And they think, well, what's this? This isn't this, because we want them to learn something, a bit about something, and and they don't. They want them in, have people dressed up, scare them, and what they're learning from that. Anybody could do that.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever had it. We had it once, and it was like, you can't be that good because you're so cheap.
Yeah.
Because obviously because we're not a company, we can put in the lower prices. Yeah. All we're doing is covering the venue and a little bit for the insurance, so to speak. Other groups were charging 60, 70 quid for the same venue, and it's like, you can't be that good because you ain't charging.
Yeah, exactly. It's a strange concept, because I found the ones who charge massive amounts of money, the ones who don't, seem to fill up more than the ones who don't do.
Yeah.
I mean, when we went to Margam Castle, I think for us it was about £30 per person, or something like that, for Margam Castle, and there was other people a few years gone back that was doing it at £70, £80 a space, and they was filling out. So I mean, I give them the due; they was filling out. So I don't know what
I think people think because they're paying more, they're getting more.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we did the pub in York, and people had just paid 30 quid for our night, and on the door there's a advert for another group who's charging 70 quid for exactly what they've just done.
That was
Yeah.
back in 2007.
Yeah.
I've
2000.
seen those posters, and then we went back years later and we did it at cost.
It becomes a farce to me. To me, I mean, sometimes I don't know if you guys. I mean, I've said a few times I get disheartened within the paranormal fields on that level. I mean, I like what I do, but then because you see other things, and sometimes you can't get it over to people anymore. You know, like when you want to try, because they're not interested. Some of them, and some people you do come across, they're not interested in pushing the boundaries or developing their own ways. Even though, because I like to do it old school ways, because I think it's the better. So I get disheartened in it, and I think it's not just ruining the paranormal community; it's ruining it for me personally. And that's what I think. I'll go naturing.
Well, guys, we're going to have a quick break, just for a couple of minutes, and just to let you know that we're talking here with Michaela Bowden, Emma Knight, and Chris Andrews about the paranormal community. Okay, what is it? This paranormal community? Does it actually exist? And later we'll be talking to Andy Mercer when he's going to be talking about his 20 years as a ghost hunter. So we'll be back after these words.
The Paranormal Intelligence Gathering Services Ghost Store is a one-stop shop for all of your ghost hunting gadgetry needs. Run by ghost hunters for ghost hunters, the shop is filled with all of the latest in investigation equipment, shipped in from all around the world, from high-quality digital dictaphones to EMF pumps, infrared illuminators to laser grid pens, CCTV equipment to data loggers. All of our equipment has already been imported, so you can buy it safe in the knowledge that there will be no hidden costs. And with our postage promise, you'll never pay more than the actual postage price. So visit www.the-pigs.co.uk/ghost store.
Yeah, we're a bit jam-packed in the hub tonight because, as I said before the advert, we have Chris Andrews from Club Zero, and we also have Michaela Bowden and Emma Knight, also from Club Zero, and they're here with us talking about the paranormal community. Yay. Does it really exist?
Well,
this is what we want to know.
I would say, to an extent, yes, mainly because of the way we've been treated with things. I mean, we've been lucky enough to meet groups like Club Zero and things like that, and we've been invited on their invest to help them out in some cases.
Yes.
And it's been absolutely great. I mean, from our point of view, it's been even better because some of them venues we'd never actually pay for ourselves. We just couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
So it's been great, and they've come on ours and done the same thing.
Yeah.
So we're starting to get work with groups together.
But don't you find there's pockets though of certain cliques in certain places calling themselves Unity?
Yeah.
We're not for some unknown reason that as far as not all of them. I'm not branding anyone, but somebody will have a paranormal unity, and there'll be some other paranormal unity, but they're not getting together and becoming a unity.
No, they're fighting against each other.
It seems to be as though everyone wants to be. We started out as a paranormal unity back in 2007, keeping the paranormal friendly. A load of them started coming up after that, and there's been quite a few out there.
One even nicked our name.
Yeah, and
it weren't us; it was another group.
And basically, it was a case of trying to better everyone, but they weren't, bonding with them. It's okay saying they're keeping the paranormal friendly.
It's a bit like one of our guests said that came on from America, and they're getting a similar problem.
Yeah,
unity exists when it suits them.
Yes,
when it's in their favour, then they want unity. The moment it's not, they're not interested.
That's it, isn't it?
This is it.
We had a situation a few years ago where we went to Bowling Hall, did invest at Bowling Hall. That's when we was Club Zero Ghost Group at the time, then, and not Club Zero Paranormal. And we went there, and when we did the investigation, and I remember speaking to the curator there, and she said, "Oh, you guys was in a couple of weeks ago." I said, "No, it wasn't." She said, "Yeah, because I took the booking, and I and I saw, you guys came in, you got the same logos on your back, you got the same." I thought, well, it wasn't us.
Yeah.
So I think, what's going on here? So obviously somebody else out there wearing our uniforms doing these investigations.
We started off at Shadow Seekers. There was no other Shadow Seekers as far as we know. We checked it online, didn't we?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there were Shadow Seekers popping up. There was one group give them their due. They had a dormant site. It wasn't up and running when we checked it. I think they're in Leicestershire or something.
Yeah.
And
they were doing something completely different.
Yeah.
To us. They weren't doing.
And they were referring
it was
on
just
their
team
site.
stuff. It was
Yeah.
just research.
And they said on their site, "We are not the Northwest version." You know, blah blah blah. If you want them, they're here.
And they actually,
you know,
yeah, they did. They give us our link, which is brilliant.
And
like, cheers, mate.
And then after that, we just added the UK on it, and that was it. You know, so
yeah. At one point, there was 5 different shadow seekers in the UK,
going from Scotland to Southampton. You know,
and yet when we started, there was none online. Obviously, we found out about the Leicester one afterwards.
Yeah,
I've never heard of any other paranormal groups other than Club Zero.
No,
yeah. Never
heard that.
We know we got one in America.
Yes. Well, we
Club
did
Zero?
have no Shadow Seekers.
No, they're still there.
I came across that by accident once.
Yeah,
searching
Tammy.
you guys.
Yeah, Tammy.
Yeah. So I just keep saying about going over there and doing a joint investigation. But no, it's
we'd love to, we just can't afford it.
It's just I do find that the animosity though within the community as well. You know, you've seen it yourself, and it always seems to stem when people leave groups.
A lot of it, it does. A lot of it stems, and then people leave groups and things like that, and sometimes you fall out, sometimes you make up. Sometimes, I mean, there's people that they've been with us for years in the past, and we're still liaise very friendly now.
Yeah.
Like PJ there, who's in the chat room. I mean, he was one of our main team members years ago. And we liaise quite closely. We're good friends. But there's people that we've obviously associated with in the past, and they've gone on their own separate ways, and they don't want anything to do, which is fine, fair enough. But I think a lot of it, then tickle tackling starts.
Yeah.
And then I mean, I've been told, from other organisations, and about the way Club Zero's meetings used to run and this and the other. And I thought, and a lot of backstabbing, and I thought, well, where's this come from?
Yeah.
And they've told me who's told them, and I thought, you go out the way to do what you can for people.
Yeah.
You try to deliver it in the right context, the right manner. It's a hard work to do, and just to get somebody, one person or 2 people running around trying to slate it off, because I think personally, because it's something that we probably did better than what they did at the time, and that's probably why.
Well, with us, we actually started up. We weren't meant to start up, was we? Really?
No,
our group.
We were going to do. We were going to do what Chris said earlier.
Yeah,
we were going to go around other groups and learn stuff.
But it didn't work out that way, and we ended up
forming
our own group.
And just for you, Andy said there used to be a Club Zero that was a club in London.
Yeah, there's a club in Sheffield called Club Zero, but it wasn't a Club Zero Paranormal.
No, it wasn't a Club Zero.
But there's a Club Zero in Sheffield. It's a night.
As I say, we done it just for being disbanded, which actually prompted me to do the KTPF. Instead of biting back because of the animosity we got for starting, we piled it all into that, didn't we?
That's it, yeah.
But
I mean, another thing that we used to get, we haven't had it for years now, but you used to go to a venue and they'd tell you that another group's turned around and said that you're crap and you haven't got a medium and you fix things and everything else. And I mean, unfortunately for the group that did that to us, he knew us better than he knew them.
I've seen that happen.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen.
When we go into a venue, before we even get there, we've been to see them. We've given them all the paperwork. We've got everything signed, sealed, and crossed and dotted and everything else.
Happened to us.
And on that particular night, our medium was there before we was.
Yeah.
And he was picking up before we even got there.
But I've heard stories.
So it kind of kind of bit and back.
It's happened to us, in the past. We've had it. I mean, we haven't had it for a long time, but we're one of the venues that we went to. We were supposed to go to, a long time ago. We've been since, but a lot in the early days, probably one of the first when we started. I remember being at the meeting, and we're advertising it, at the meeting, and we had certain people at the meeting, and we said, all right, this is the time we need to be there. This is where we need to be. We've got to be there at this time. And I remember ringing the venue up about 2 days before we were due to go, and they said, "Oh no, I'm sorry, we can't let you in." I said, why? What's the crap? Oh well, we've been told about you. Your organisation is just like mucking around, drinking alcohol, taking drugs, and things. I thought, what are you talking about here? So I mentioned a certain name, and and he said, well, yeah, basically this certain person had told them this, that, and the other, and I thought, so I had to go and sort of pull this person up about it, and who denied it.
Yeah.
You know, but something happens. You know.
Well, this is it. We've heard stories of people ringing up to confirm, you know, bookings and stuff, and they've turned around and said, no, sorry, somebody cancelled 2 weeks ago or something. Or people have turned up on the night and said, no, you cancelled 2 weeks ago, and things like this.
It's one reason why we always give a booking reference. No, it's like, if you don't get the booking reference, it's not us.
You know, and we've had...
Because we had to do that just to cover ourselves.
Yeah.
You got to do, aren't you?
And we've had so many stories out there since doing the KTPF that have gone literally as far as court orders, injunctions, people knocking on people's doors and beating them up. And literally, really gone really.
One
as
group
far as that.
even turned up on the night of another group's investigation and caused havoc actually on the night.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So.
And it's all stupid stuff, and it's nothing to do with the paranormal. It's to do with the people in it.
Yeah,
it's to do with individuals, and unfortunately, that spreads to everything else.
If you've got a paranormal pie of 100% ratio, you know, I think probably, you know, less than 60% of that might be actually genuine stuff. Now, well, actually, probably a lot less than that.
Yeah,
you
know, you're probably talking maybe 30% actually might actually be genuine. You know, in paranormal related aspects, the true paranormal, and then you'll have a margin of, you know, a different margin who are for the paranormal, but it's just more of a scare tactic where they want to go in, find out what they've got, point and shoot, let's just hope, go home, forget about it, and then you've got the bigger margin where it's just get in, give us the money, get out, you know, and it breaks the pie apart a bit.
But then there's the other bit of the scale. Recent reports have been spreading around the internet about a group that went on an investigation and literally were having a go at the members and threatening to throw them off buses and letting them making their own way home. You know, it's just not.
No, it's not good, is it?
And they're taking that group to Germany, so they weren't even in the home country.
No, you know what I mean. So, and accusing them of causing trouble. This is what I've read on
Quicker
online.
taking the money, though, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
You know, but not. Comes a moral obligation. If you're going to take someone's money, then that stands that you're providing a service. If someone's paying you something, you're providing some service, so you've got to look after that person.
Can I just say that for those that are listening, if they know about this. It's not the original owners of the group.
No,
because from what we've heard, they sold the group on to somebody else, and it's the ones that have took over that have done this.
Yeah, so as I say,
not the original people from that particular group.
Yeah, we won't be mentioning any names though, but as I say,
no.
Say that again.
With that, it also frightens the venue owners as well, and it's literally, you know, shutting them down. Yeah. So,
and the people that want to go on it.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, not so long ago we did an investigation, and the lady who deals with the events, she had a bad experience, and she did ask, you know, have you got a code of conduct? You know, can you email it me? You know, and so on and so on. Only I don't want to go through that again because they were really disrespectful. They were kicking furniture around. They turned up drunk, throwing food about. It's not good.
It's not.
You know, and there's other things that you hear about where people do the investigation. Some of them are actually charities, and then not turn around and paid the money.
Yeah, I've heard of that as well.
Yeah. You know, it's
the front for it.
You know, it's ridiculous.
I mean, it does swing all ways, unfortunately, and everything reflects badly on everybody else. I mean, we've heard of some groups actually charging a charity £700 to do the night.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, it's just ridiculous.
We only found out about that because we ended up doing it. And we didn't charge them anything.
Because that's the big evil of it. It's all. I mean, we all need money to survive, and we all need money to jobs. We need to make a living. Of course we do, but I don't think we should be making livings out of other people. You know, out of exploitation of a paranormal basis. And I think that the paranormal's changing to a degree where. The old days, people was out there to do it for the correct reasons, and they wanted to. we'll actually find information to prove that there's something going on here. Now, it's not like that now anymore,
No.
and I can't, to be truthful, see it going back to the older ways of doing it, the true beliefs of it. I just see it being exploited, and it's going, and I can see groups just thinking, you know what, I can't be bothered with this anymore.
Yeah.
It's like driving a little push bike down a highway or something.
Yeah.
All these racing cars are taking past because they're bigger and flashier, and that's how it is. And I think it's just becoming an exploitation.
I think the bottom will drop out of it though, because if you think, I suppose, like the property market as an example, that was a massive booming thing a few years ago, and in this way, all these paranormal groups, there's so many of them out there. They're raking it in, and there's going to be a point where they're just going to run out of people who want to go, and the bottom's just going to drop out of it, and hopefully things will go back full circle to the way they used to be.
Maybe there should be a regulating law to sort of regulate.
That's the thing, it's a free-for-all as well. There's no regulation.
What you've got to look at, certain people go into people's houses, so they're dealing with the public.
Yeah.
So, obviously, so at the moment, public liability insurance. But, some groups don't have public liability insurance.
It's easy to get, though.
No.
It's very easy to get.
It is easy to get.
If you've got the money, and you can fill in a
Anybody
form
can buy
online,
it.
anyone can get public liability
Anyone can buy it.
insurance.
But so you go to a venue and you produce your public liability insurance and say, it's all right, hey, I'm covered with public liability insurance. They think, oh, professional, got insurance, and you come. That person might never have dealt with anybody in the public before. They might have to take a case on when they're visiting somebody's home. It's a small child that's having trouble with, you can't sleep at night because they're seeing things going on. They might be, what they're not looking at, some people might think that, they might be suffering from emotional stress, they might be suffering from mental fatigue. You might have to just go in and say that the wrong thing, and you could turn that person, if they haven't studied it, they could turn that person who might be on the edge and they believe that they're suffering from paranormal, and it might not be, it might be, something else, and they can push them overboard and create more harm.
Yeah, I mean, that I think should be separated completely.
Yeah, it should.
Because so many people think because they're in a paranormal group they can do house clearances, and that kind of thing, and they can't.
No.
They just can't. They don't know what questions to ask. They don't know what to do, and a lot of them go in heavy-handed, and you just don't do that.
No,
it's just not necessary. You go in quietly. You don't go in leading trumpets, fanfare. You go in quietly. You ask the questions. In some cases, it's as simple as the medication they're taking. One's interacting wrong with another.
Yeah.
And if you go in and you ask the right questions quietly, you can check quite easily online. Should you be taking this with this, and
the side effects?
And the side effects, it'll tell you straight there, and you can go, okay, you need to speak to your doctor about this and this because it could be causing that.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's as simple as that.
Depression is a high thing these days.
Yeah.
But
stress.
but if you go in automatically thinking that everywhere you go is haunted, you've lost.
Well, I've come across a few groups in the past, and recently as well, even that they'll get told, or they'll sort of say, well, we've got this person who's got this house, and they want us to go to this house, and they've got this, it's got poltergeist activity.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we're going to go in and we're going to go clear this poltergeist. Straight away, I think to myself, well, you're already assuming that you're going in it's poltergeist activity, so you're going in with that train of thought, not a thought because of what a person might be experiencing or what you just said there, Steve. What might be infusing this, or what horror films have been watching, or they've been drinking, falling asleep, and they've listened to the telly while it's been on. They've gone there with the conception that it's poltergeist activity, so therefore that tells me that they're not prepared to listen to anything else, so they're not going to be able to divulge that in the right way. They're not going to, because they've not gone in prepared for the person. I think, people do these things differently, and it's it's all down to themselves. It's just a shame when things get worse rather than better. When I go, what I tend to do, I try to push all the paranormal away for a little bit, and I think, well, I'll come to that last. This person is called because they're suffering. Whatever it is, they might believe it might be ghostly phenomena, it might be whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know that, so all I know is that this person claims that they're suffering, they're having bad experiences. So the first thing I've got to do there is talk to them, reassure them, and they need to have peace of mind in their own home, that their homes. They should feel safe.
Yeah.
You should have that security in their own home without even going into the paranormal or anything whatsoever. Ask them questions, and then sometimes I'll write them down. Maybe ask them questions again, the same question but in a different format, to see if I get the same answer.
Yeah.
And you can find out a lot of things that way, and there's lots and lots of home visits that we've gone to, and they've proclaimed it's demonic. They've had groups in the past that said it's demonic, things like that. We've gone in, we've just had a couple of hours chin chat with them, and they've been happy as lamb. We've not even had to pull any equipment out. We just talked to them, and they've wrote back to us and saying, you know what, everything's so much better now. Where before it's all demonic and dark. It's just bad.
I don't think you can ever have anything that legislates to the paranormal, but that side of it should be. You shouldn't be allowed to do house clearances and stuff like that without taking the proper test and knowing what you're doing.
If someone goes into someone's house who's a little bit, let's say a person maybe a little bit unstable, they're relatively visiting the doctor, so they're on some form of antidepressants or something like that. They're not too major, but you've got to be careful how they go. Somebody comes along and starts saying, well, you'll tell you what, you've got poltergeist, you've got dark energy.
In your kitchen.
Or, get out of the house because your family's in danger, you're going to die. Because people do get told that. They're going to freak like hell. They're really going to freak. They're going to go back to the doctors. The medication's going to get upped. They're on the verge of probably having a panic attack. Not panic attack, but on the verge of a breakdown. If they've got children, the doctor could be concerned. That could lead to social services getting involved. It could lead to families being split up, to lead to evictions of the house, and it can bring on a domino effect because it's just creating. It's easier to destroy than to create, isn't it?
And a lot of groups think it's one visit. Yeah, it's not. I mean, one that we're still monitoring now, what we took on recently. First thing we did was go down and talk to them and do the basic checks on the house. Yeah. I mean, we found one problem straight away. It's just high EMF in the kitchen. Yeah. So I mean, that was a simple thing to do. And obviously, they're getting the boiler checked now. But we did that first. Then we went in and set up cameras and did that bit. Now Andy's going through all the footage and all the recordings. Yeah. But we've asked. They're moving back in. They're moving back in because nothing happened. Because nothing happened on the night. Although we did sort out a couple of things, and it's a case of let us know where you go. Exactly. Yeah. We're still checking everything that needs to be checked, and once they're in and settled again, they can then come back to us and say, yeah, everything's fine, or we still need some help.
Well, like you've just said there, and like PJ's wrote on the chat room, 4 or 5 times.
Oh yeah.
Nobody, I don't care who it is, nobody can go into a venue, any venue, investigate and say it's paranormal in a night. No. In a night. No. It's because some things happen. I mean, right, fair enough. We only get certain venues for that night on, and we have to pay a lot of money for it. So you've got to make the, and some people, I've just been touched at the back of the neck, or did you hear that? Did you hear that? And people, the experience of it, we can give, they can have the experience of it, but we can't proclaim and turn and say it was haunted, it was a ghost, because we can't prove that without having more scientific reasoning or more time to check it out thoroughly. But especially home visits. I think home visits are a completely different aspect to just your relative investigation in a venue, because obviously people they're going there. You're taking people, so when you're more involved in looking after the public that's with you. Rather than conducting the paranormal investigation to a degree, so you sort of miss out on a lot of it because you're trying to guide the people that's with you, and of making sure that they're learning and they're safe. But when you're doing a house investigation, and that's when it all comes out because you're there then to provide that information.
PJ's just said one group that so only takes men on a private investigation. It should always be a mixed team. That should go to the venue, which is correct. It should be. If you've just joined us, we're here with Chris Andrews, Emma Knight, and Michaela Bowden from Club Zero, and we're talking about the changes over the years of the paranormal community. We're talking about the whys and wherefores and the do's and the don'ts, in our opinion, and whether the paranormal community does actually exist or not. So very soon we'll be talking to Andy Mercer. He's going to tell us about his ghost hunting, the spook searching for over 20 years. So please stay with us.
I mean, I think the basic answer to our question is that yes, it does in pockets.
In pockets.
In pockets.
Yeah.
In pockets.
In pockets.
It's in Chris's back pocket. I think.
Yeah, exactly. I know people out there thinking that who do these Club Zero think? Yeah, they're elite. Aren't we? Heck, far from it. No, we're not elite. We're just a bog standard, everyday paranoid. Like
learning
most people.
every day.
Same here.
Learning all the time. We're not proclaiming to be better than anybody else, but we've. I think that we have the right approach than some.
These are our opinions.
Yeah,
opinions.
Yes.
We've always said that we're not better than anybody else. We're just good at what we do.
Exactly. Having the right approach is a lot, and there's some there with the same approaches. There's some out there with better approaches, and there's some there with worse approaches.
Yeah.
I mean, me and Sue have been on Invest with other groups, and we've come back and thought we'll try that.
Yeah.
And we've done it, and it's
exactly.
and it has improved the night.
People should just concentrate on what they're actually doing and going there for, rather than thinking, I want to be better than them, or we'll show them. And you do get that,
Keep saying it's not a competition.
Exactly. Well, we'll show that Shadow Seekers what it's like, or whatever the case is.
Be my guest, go for it.
You get all that.
It's not a competition. You know what I mean? It's at the end of the day, we're all looking for the same thing, which is why I've always said about collaboration, not competition.
Exactly.
Because, like I say, going back to the original venues, when we turn around and say, well, if you get something and then somebody else gets something from another group, it collaborates it for you.
I think when I see a pattern forming, I think some people may not actually want that, because what I have tend to found in the pattern is that the most people that you seem to do a lot of collaborating with are people from a bit more old school of investing, like yourselves, PJ on there, on the chat room, and ourselves, and there's a few others out there. People that go back a few more years, maybe have been involved in things, and I think they seem to have, they've all been in that sort of area for years, so they've heard of each other, and eventually they sort of form together, so they know what it's like. And I think that probably some of the new ones are out there who haven't sort of been linked in that area, probably don't want to, or I get that impression that they think, we'll do our own thing when we want to do it.
Yeah. Every group goes through an evolution stages, as you clock up so many years, and you think, well, the club's different than it was when I first started.
Yes.
We approach things differently. Our team might be completely different. You might have a completely new lineup. So it's an evolution, because it's everyone's on a different timescale, I suppose.
We've had more lineups than Whitesnake. Honestly.
PJ said in the chat room here, when it comes to doing private houses, it should be made that a team member is CBR checked.
So that's good. Yeah, that's good.
Can you tell everybody what CBR is?
Yeah, it's criminal records check, isn't it?
Yeah.
CBR and whatnot.
Well, this is it. You don't know who's going in, do you?
I'm vetted by the government.
See, at the end of the day, you don't know who's going in. You know what I mean? They could be not saying they are, but these people could be coming in and checking the security. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, God forbid, and this, I don't want to say this, but obviously, unfortunately, there is people out there that, let's say, are on certain offenders registers and things like that. And obviously these people don't go proclaiming I've been in there for this and I've done this for that, so they don't advertise themselves. So when someone's joining a paranormal team, they don't know anything about this person.
No.
And then if you go and doing an investigation in someone's house and they're dealing with children or whatever the case is, you just got to be careful. So when PJ is saying the CBR check, that's a good idea.
Because like you said, some of these places they go to, there may be children or a woman on their own.
It's one of the questions we ask when we take on staff.
Because if we know about it, at least it's something,
I mean, obviously we can only go by what they tell us.
Yeah.
Because we can't just ring up the police and say, "Can you check this guy, please?" Well, we could, but
but
it's all you can do, though, really, isn't it?
If they're open with us and say, when I was younger or whatever, at least we know then, and we know not to put them in temptation, basically.
In certain areas,
so.
Well, if you're a carer, if you're a home carer, you visit people in their own homes, you deal with the public in that way, you have to have a CBR check.
Yeah,
so why shouldn't it apply?
It will happen. I mean, another thing, what the government will do, because at some stage they're going to see there's thousands and thousands and we don't make money. non-profit like you guys are non-profit.
No.
We don't make money at all. We provide the public service, so we don't make money. But the government out there eventually are going to see that there's thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds here being made from investigative groups, and they're going to look at this thing because they want to tax everybody and everything, don't they?
Yeah.
They don't want nothing going through. So they're going to look at this and think, you know what, we're missing out here on a lot of money. And if they wasn't thinking of it, they probably will do now after I've just said this. And and what they'll do, they will bring in some law where there'll only be certain bodies that can do this. There'll be certain criteria that'll be met. You will have to have CBR checks. You will have to meet certain. Groups will probably have to undertake public liaison courses and all this type of thing.
Well, that brings up
pay a heavy duty.
An interesting question, because is that if the government kind of made a government body for regulating paranormal investigation groups, teams, whatever, does that mean that the government is sort of, admitting the paranormal is real?
Yeah. That's why
it probably won't happen.
That's why it'll never happen
by association.
Because they would have to admit then that paranormal exists.
Yeah.
And they won't.
Well, they could do it.
They'd class it as an entertainment, wouldn't they?
Well, yeah, they could do it as
they do anyway.
They could change it into the form of tax, public tax.
Yeah.
All right. So I mean, or what you could probably look at it in the sense of is event tax. Everything that we do, everything we live and breathe, tax. Everything is tax. So we do events. So they're not necessarily. And plus, they could also open themselves to the people and turn around and say, well, we're not denying the fact that the paranormal. What they got to do is the government have to go with the majority. If they go with the majority of the population, they're going to win votes, aren't they? The majority. Let's weigh this up. How many people believe in the paranormal? How many don't? You can guarantee the ones who don't will still turn around. Some of them say, "Well, I did have an experience when I've had a few pints."
Yeah.
What they're going to look at the end of the day, there's a lot of people are still prepared to look at and put their hands in the pocket and they're paying all this, and there's all these thousands being frittered, and we're sat here letting all this go.
Yeah.
So we're either going to look at this as an event tax, or or whatever the case is, and they will get their hands in the pie in the future.
If that happened, in some ways it would be good, but on the flip side, you get by overnight a lot of groups would just cease to exist, or they go under the radar, and then a lot of venues who actually, there's quite a few we've come across, and they rely on paranormal groups coming in week out to keep their pub running because they can't survive without this. So some venues might cease to exist, especially venues that are charitable, they're museums, stately homes that have to provide their own income. They're there for the public in a way because they're open to the public.
All their funds was cancelled.
It's a great area.
You have got them there that have got wealthy bank accounts, the big ones. And we know ourselves, and you guys as well. We pay for things out of our own pockets. If there's an investigation, we're offering an investigation. We ourselves pay to go on them as well. And there's some out there that don't. Obviously, that's fine because it might cover from. It's just how it works. But we have to pay as well, and say, so when we got the members there or the public, and they say, well, we've got this investigation. It's X amount of pounds. It's £20, £30 or whatever the case is. We need to obviously reassure them that whatever they're paying, we're paying exactly the same, but we're going there to help them out. So obviously, it's not a case of we're waking. I mean, if I would have retired years ago, if we done that, I just don't see it being. I don't. But it's same with mediums as well. Who, and again, there's no disrespect to anybody. Everybody's got the right to do as they want to do. But when you get these mediums that go ring. Whoever's hotline is, and it's with credit cards, all major credit cards accepted. It's only £8 a minute, and I'll give you this reading, and I think that's just exploitation. I think if someone up there has come down and said, "Look, I've got a message for whoever over there," then they're not charging that messenger. They're giving them its free will, so they should pass that over.
It is a gift. Yeah.
I have something very important to tell you, Michaela. It's very important, and it could really, really change your life around. And it's so important.
But it's going to cost you £30.
I can't tell you.
No, I can't tell you.
I'm so sorry. And they get that because of the old, cross my palm with silver.
I had somebody contact me via email. Funny enough, and she was going on about, this is going to happen. There's a transition, blah blah blah. But for me to help you, it's going to cost £42. I thought, you're all right.
Well, if they wanted to help you, they could.
Yeah, well, this is it. So.
They're saying that they could help you because obviously they must have the means, or they believe they have.
Yeah.
So if it's going to cost, you haven't got £42.
You know.
Well, why can't they still help me?
And I actually sent a message back saying, look, I'm sorry, I can't afford that, blah, blah, blah. Right, but thank you for the option. And then she's still sending me, you really need to I really want to work with you, Suzanne. You know, and I'm like, no.
I really want you to empty your pockets.
Yeah.
But using your first name to try and get you.
It's gone from face-to-face contact and touching the person or psychometry to telephone, emails, just thoughts. Sometimes it's even on the television. You know, you even see shows on the television where they're there and they're like, I'm sending this out to the audience out there, you know, ringing, and they're like, ooh, you made my lights go off, you know. And you get all that type of thing, and I think, how the hell can you give somebody a reading electronically?
No, this is it.
How can you do it?
I think, also, I think these days, the times of making money at the paranormal's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, mediums and stuff, yeah, they will always make money. But groups, the time is gone. When it first started, there wasn't much groups around.
I'll give you a tenner if you can produce a demon.
There were thousands of pounds to be made.
Yeah.
It's not there anymore.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
I mean, in the time we've gone, we've watched the big groups that do 3 or 4 a night.
Yeah.
We've seen their prices drop steadily.
Exactly.
You know. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we're bringing it down. Because we're low, they've had to bring theirs down. I mean, also, a lot what does happen, and a lot of people don't realise it, you see events online, and it suddenly comes up, event full.
Yeah.
It's not full, they just cancelled it.
No.
They cancelled it because they didn't get enough people. And we're all thinking to ourselves, how the bloody hell did they fill that at
that price?
At that price, we're cheaper and can't fill it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, it's because they cancelled it.
Yeah.
So they relate to trying to get. I mean, we've done it ourselves.
They put an event full, and it isn't.
Yeah, well, I don't mean we've done that ourselves, but some will. What we've done ourselves, you relate to. You bring celebrities in on some on investigations as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done it. I mean, it's nice anyway to do that, and it gives them people. It gives the people that little something extra for them, but it also probably helps to actually promote the investigation itself, because it is a downhill process, isn't it?
I mean, we asked the celebrity medium to come on once, and when we found out what it was costing, it just wasn't worth the while.
No.
Because not only was you paying between £200 and £300 for the medium, you also had to pay his travelling and hotel expenses on top of that.
Wow.
So you were paying. You were adding anything up to about £500 on top of the price.
It does come back to the money, doesn't it?
You'll get some television celebrities, who make a living, and or they have made a living, or during paranormal programs or whatever the case is, or on the radio or whatever, and they get a lot of money for doing it. And then people might invite them to come along, or they'll, to certain events, or maybe for charity, or to tag along on certain events. And these might have an agent or whatever, and they'll have charging fees.
Oh yeah.
And I think, well, why are you charging? Because
everybody's got to be paid.
Well, exactly. But they're getting they're getting the wages from the job that they do in the media anyway.
Then they've got to pay the commission.
Exactly. But I think if to attend, like helping another group out or whatever to do it, especially if it's a charity thing, and they should turn up anyway, and give that back to the public, because it was them. It was the public. It was those paranormal interested people that put them people there in the first place. Because if they wasn't interested, they wouldn't have watched the telly. The ratings would have gone down. They'd have been out of a job. They'd have been skinning rabbits somewhere on a farm or something like that.
I mean, that's another thing that's hitting groups in the UK. Emma mentioned it the other day. There's no English haunted stuff on TV. It's all American. So there's nothing. I mean, most haunted, for all its faults, was brilliant for that.
Yeah.
Because
it was in the UK.
Gave people a taste for a British history as well, because I'd watch it, and I'd watch it mainly for the history bit.
Oh yeah.
And then
Most Haunted,
people think, oh, I've seen that on Most Haunted. Do you fancy going up? It's bank holiday weekend. We'll have a look round.
Some people do sort of go off about Most Haunted, and people love them or they hate them, don't they? But I mean, regardless of what anybody thinks of them, Most Haunted was probably the founding body of the investigators on groups
but how
today.
many who hated them have turned around and said, oh, they went to wherever, let's go and see whether we can.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Some people will say, right, Most Haunted, I watch it, I love it, it's fantastic. Some will say, I can't stand that programme.
No.
But then they're into the paranormal. but they're only doing the paranormal because Most Haunted put it on the map in the first place. You know, so you know, and I know some of the people from the show themselves, and they're lovely people. You know, they're really nice people, and they did. But people forget that they did. You know, they did put them on the map.
Yeah, they also forget that they were making a living. They were keeping roofs over their head and taking care of the families doing that.
Yeah,
which is great. But Most Haunted was on one hand was brilliant because it got the interest up.
Yeah.
We found lots of venues that we probably wouldn't have found if we haven't been watching the program. But it also pushed the prices up.
Yes.
Because all of a sudden, because Most Haunted had been there, prices went.
Silver Screen will do that anyway.
Prices went up from the
creating a market.
Affordable £300 to £700-800 just because they'd been.
It's because they realise once it's on the telly, they're going to get inundated with groups. So up our prices.
I won't say the venue, but they went to this venue and Sue rang them up within 24 hours of it being on TV, and we got it at £8 a head. Yeah. £10, £10.50 if it was tea and coffee. Yeah. Yeah. Within a week, they were charging £25 a head. Yeah. Just because Most Haunted had been there. Yeah. What's different?
This is it. So
just because you can put Most Haunted had been there.
It's the same with
and that's not that particular one is not Most Haunted's fault.
No,
it's the venue. In some cases, it is Most Haunted, but because we've heard direct from the venue that they've told us Most Haunted has said we can charge this.
Yeah.
But it's the venues themselves that choose to do it. You know, they can only be advised.
Yeah. So they've actually helped us on one hand and hindered us on the other.
Yeah. So a bit of 50-50.
Yeah.
So
well, it's the same with other venues. I mean, it's not just television. It's the big business ones in the paranormal, like what we were saying before. Because like you've just been saying there, we used to have a venue years back. And I think it's probably about £75 to hire the whole venue, you know, at one time, years back. And then suddenly when, you know, these groups was selling tickets for £99 each on eBay and things like that, and they got wind of it. Yeah. So the price is £600. Yeah. You know, and you thought, we couldn't do it. We just couldn't anymore.
And it's exactly the same venue.
Yeah, exactly.
No changes, no nothing.
Exactly. Stupid.
I mean, I think another one, the one you mean, and
you've got a certificate for on your wall over there for it. Yeah. You know, not that one there, but you've got a certificate on your wall with it. It mentions it on there. The venue.
Right, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Well,
little place in Chester.
Oh yes, I love the little players. It's a lovely place.
We actually suggest to a lot of venues when we actually speak to them that they should do a two-tier system. Yeah. People are coming in that they know are, for the want of a better word, doing it for the money. Yeah. Yeah, charge them more. By all means, they can afford it. But the little group, the likes of us that are not doing it for the money.
Definitely.
They're just going in to cover the cost and see what they can get. Yeah. There should be a lower price.
Michaela.
Yeah. No, when I'm phoning any event, I always explain to them, well, we are non-profit. Do you have two costs? And they say no. It's just the one cost.
We do try and push that out there, don't we? Sometimes.
Yeah, we do try, but once again, it's down to the venue.
Yeah.
And you can't really blame them because they think, well, if they're paying £600, why can't you?
It's hard enough to get venues as it is now, you know, and everybody's been everywhere, you know, and a lot of venues have, the society's changed, places have shut down, changed hands. What was a popular venue at one time for all investigators, suddenly it's changed hands and the new owner's not interested. Yeah, he's not into that. So, or whatever the case. So it's so difficult now, to keep it going.
Some venues even had VAT.
Yeah, of course they do. Yeah, of course they do.
And you have to check.
Or they'll try and justify adding on the extra hundreds of pounds by giving you a few sandwiches. I'll give you a few sandwiches or a cup of tea. Yeah. Or here's some biscuits and a cup of tea, and we'll. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or you could come and do this investigation. Of course you can. Yep, it's going to cost you X amount of hundreds of pounds, but there's no you can't take photographs. There's no seances. There's no this. There's no this, and there's no this. And you think, well, you've got that room and you've got that room, and you think, well, what am I supposed to do here now? You can't take photographs. You know, I mean, there was a place in Stockport that we investigated, a few times years ago, and we used to go in there and take photographs. And now we're not allowed to do now. No pictures because they've got tapestries and things like that.
Yeah.
So, which is understandable. They think that the flash from the cameras is going to cause damage, but what are you supposed to do? If there's any evidence, then you can't take photographs. So it makes it not worthwhile doing it. All you
can do is film.
Exactly.
No, but,
like PJ said, a lot of the places have no paranormal groups allowed. So, but I don't know whether Andy 707's at home yet. What utter nonsense.
What is Andy?
What is Andy? Are you at home, Andy? And if you can get on Skype ready, or are you not at home yet? So if you could let us know.
I hate it when he goes, what utter nonsense, because I don't know which bit you're talking about.
All of it.
All of it.
Yeah, all of it.
Well, I think we finished bashing the Unity, haven't we, really?
Well, we haven't bashed the Unity.
I
think we've just
we've bashed
took the lid off it.
People's perspective of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to go on. I mean, every single group out there are going to have their own thoughts on it. Every single person.
Flash damaging tapestries on the belt.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's the excuse that they give. But everybody out there is going to have their own opinions on it. Some are going to agree with it. Some are going to go against what we've said. But which is fine. Everybody's entitled. There's no elite people out there. Everyone's entitled to think what they want to think. It's just that when you've been there and you've done it and you've seen these
how long
things.
have you said you've been in the business now? 10 years.
Well, Club Zero's been going 11.
11 years.
And I was doing it before that.
Yeah.
So.
And it has changed over.
You do see these changes.
Yeah.
You got people out there who've been going 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, which is all right.
PJ's been going since the 70s.
Yeah, he's been going for years as well. But so obviously he's seen big change. And there's groups that have been going there a couple of years, fine, but they feel like they're established, and in their own rights they are established to a point, but they've not been in it long enough to actually see the changes unfold because. In that period of time, it's all been in a Unity part, so they haven't, they've not sort of kind of seen that. At the
9 years for us.
I hope they never get to see all that side of things, but unfortunately, that's life.
Yeah, we've been in it 9 years.
Or the afterlife.
Really?
9 years now.
Yeah.
No, you're getting
Coming
old.
Up to 10 years.
Couple more wrinkles there now, eh?
Oh,
on us
yeah.
all. I had hair when I started this. I tell you.
I keep dying.
I went under my armpits.
I'm
going grey now.
So, but we're getting older, and we're getting older.
But are we getting wiser?
But wiser. Well,
yeah.
Well, I don't think
wiser.
Well,
that's debatable, isn't it, Emma?
I was just going to say, are we getting
Depends on the
wiser?
person.
Because we're still doing it. We're still running around at 3 in the morning doing it.
Yeah.
So.
But it's the anticipation of that one thing that's going to go, hey, you bugger. You know what I mean? In the middle of the night.
Is that because you just stepped on a snail?
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, when we went out with you last.
Yeah.
I mean, you would never have, in a million years, have thought this would have happened.
No.
But the kettle came on by itself, and it's been doing it 2 or 3 times through the night, and so you just think, turn the kettle off, will you? And it went off like that.
Yeah. It was cracking.
The back of your neck went up.
It was perfect timing. It couldn't have been timed any better. And you're right. Every freckle on the back of my head, I could feel it standing up. I could float. I could have floated. Honestly, it was just the timing was impeccable. It was absolutely, it was great.
But it's little things like that make you go back.
Things,
keeps you going, doesn't it?
It is.
It's the little things like that make you go back,
Yeah.
even though you know it wasn't paranormal. You still go back.
Yeah.
That's the key element.
Because of the way it made you feel at the time.
What people think, I think a lot of people forget is to have fun while they're doing it.
Yeah.
You got to have a serious element because you're going to collect the right data, but you got to be having fun. There's no point doing something that you're not going to enjoy.
No, this is it.
So you got to have fun.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we're going to end on that note.
Yeah.
Okay. And,
Are we going to do Emma?
we're going to come back to
Wait, was that
in a bit.
observations?
She's got quite a few observations.
Yeah, she has 6.
Ooh.
So I'm going to go into the paranormal.
And some
events.
tongue twisters as well.
Oh,
Okay?
great.
So if you would like to get a drink for me while I'm doing
You wished another drink? Okay, okie dokie.
Knowing Chris, you'd like a quick break.
Aye. Nicotine level is down to past my knees.
So we'll speak to you in a moment. Fed up of wading through the activities and events that other advertisers include? Find just what you're looking for at paranormaleventsforyou.com, your one-stop paranormal directory. And on the 30th of May, you'll find Compass Paranormal starting this weekend with quite a few investigations coming up. They're at Cleveland Ironstone Mining Museum, which is reported to have paranormal activity underneath the in the dark underground tunnels that were created in 1847, where miners struggled in the most unbelievable, strenuous working conditions, and many lives, both old and young, were lost, with numerous occurrences which are thought to be caused by paranormal phenomena being reported. On the 31st of May, they're then off to investigate Fort Paul, the tunnels, vaults, hospital, and the Blackburn Beverly aircraft. There have been reported activity of footsteps been heard, disembodied voices heard at certain areas of the fort, doors opening and closing apparently of their own accord, sudden drops of temperature, and much more unexplained phenomena. People have experienced feelings of being watched here, along with reports of people being physically pushed. So you can find out more from them at compassparanormal.co.uk. On the 6th of June, yes, we're nearly in June, ladies and gentlemen, Kelvedon Hatch sponsored sleepover at the secret nuclear bunker in Essex. DDRD Foundation present a sponsored sleepover at Kelvedon Hatch in Brentwood. It starts at 9:30 p.m. till 5 a.m. But they said, don't worry, if it all gets too much for you, you can have a sleep in the original bunkers if you dare. So you can bring your sleeping bag. On the night, they are joined by Essex and Kent Paranormal Research Society team, and during the investigation there will be an added extra of platform clairvoyance to be held during the break if you wish to join in, and with table tipping, ghost box, glass movement, and much more. Find out at www.ddrdfoundation.org. Now on the 7th of June we're back with Compass Paranormal. They're at Whittington Castle in Overstreet, if I pronounce that right. Explore the charming and romantic ruins of this very haunted castle. The castle is steeped in historic tales of bitter warfare, treachery, death, myths, legends, and of course many ghosts and strange happenings. Are you brave enough to investigate the eerie, dark and oppressive guard room which some staff members absolutely refuse to enter? So join them in their quest to discover the spiritual residents which occupy this fascinating historical castle. You can find out more from www.compassparanormal.co.uk. And on 8th of June, Sunday 8th of June, Suzanne Lilly will be doing her intuitive tarot at the Grand Pavilion, South Parade, Matlock Bath in Derbyshire. She will be attending the Jewel Stone Mind, Body and Spirit event, which is there for the weekend on the 7th as well, offering intuitive tarot, psychometry and spiritual guidance. She'll be working closely with her guides and you to reveal exactly where you are right now, how you got here, and where to focus your energy to continue your journey. If you would like to book a reading at this event, please visit her website at suzannelilly.co.uk. On the 14th and 15th of June, Derby, at the Park Pride Stadium, there is a Mind, Body and Spirit held by White Light Events, and you can find out more from whitelightevents.co.uk. And don't forget, there are our very own 3 psychics that are roaming around the country entertaining you. You've got the 2014 Enlightenment Tour with Derek Acora. Find out where he's at derekacora.com. Or you can see Tony Stockwell. He's travelling around the country too, entertaining people with his psychic knowledge. And you can find out more at tonystockwell.com and click events. And we've also got Colin Fry. He's doing his Voices from Heaven Tour 2014, an evening of clairvoyance with Living TV's psychic medium Colin Fry. As one of the country's most well-known and respected mediums, Colin continues his countrywide tour of the UK. Find out more from www.colinfry.co.uk. So check out the one-stop paranormal directory for more investigations and events, available now. ParanormalEventsForYou.com also offers banner advertising for only £10 per year. See our website for more details.
paranormaleventsforyou.com, your one-stop paranormal directory.
Yeah, well, that's the events coming up over the next few weeks. Isn't it, Steve?
Turn my mic on, it does help. Yes, it is, definitely. That's a varied amount of events there. Mr. Andy is having problems logging into Skype.
Oh, he's there now.
He said he's got it working.
He said he's got it working now. So let's get him on the phone, shall we? So let's find him. Hope it all works well. A bit of a problem tonight.
Hello.
You just did.
Hello.
Ah, it worked.
We've had a very unusual night tonight, Andy.
Yeah, I missed quite a bit of the show, actually.
Yeah, well, Livestream decided to play up earlier.
Oh, dear.
So then I went over to Ustream. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was diverting everybody over there, but PJ was on there, and he said that there was adverts coming up every so often, lasting 2 minutes.
Yes, I've noticed adverts suddenly started popping up. I mean, I was blocked them all before, and then they're starting to appear again.
Yeah,
So
I thought, hello, what's all that about? So we've then I noticed that the picture came back on live stream, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed. So I've diverted everybody back to live stream, who we know and love normally.
Well, no, the image is disappearing every now and again, so obviously the feed is stalling, but I can hear you, obviously, on the Skype.
Well, that's all right then. As I say, I don't know what's going on with live stream. I have emailed them, but because it's not a premiere program, then
they don't care.
I'm on the back burner.
The back bloody right, yeah.
You know, I did try ringing them in America, but it said, if you are premium, give us your number. If not, leave us a message.
Go away.
Leave us a message and we'll ignore it.
Yeah. So how are you, Andy?
I'm not too bad. I'm celebrating this week. I've a bit of an up and down time. As you probably remember, I've got 2 guinea pigs, or had 2 guinea pigs. Unfortunately, one of them's passed away.
Yeah.
So we've had to say goodbye to him. But we've now got a little replacement, or not replacement, a little addition to the family, who's now been named Toby. He's joined us. And the other major news for me is I have a job. I shall be teaching in September.
Good.
The poor people of Basildon, beware.
So does that mean you're off work now until then?
No, I'm still training. I've got 4 more weeks at the local school. At the school rather than the Docklands area, which is a Catholic school, which is quite interesting for me. And then that's it. But I'm basically, after half term, because half term now, I take over running the class. So it's going to be sort of pretty much full time proper teaching for the next few weeks.
Oh, right. Okay.
I have a fairly lengthy break before I start in September with my own class, my own kids. So yay! Yes.
Yeah, so that's good then.
Let's start planning lessons.
Yeah.
I've been doing that for months already. What about planning?
No, I'm not playing ball with you. Oh, God.
Oh, Lord, what's going on? I can't see the picture.
You've been playing ball with the dog outside.
Oh.
Yes.
No wonder she's come in. I don't know.
With the ball in her mouth.
The dog's fine. I'm knackered now.
Right, okay. I'm just going to find your YouTube ones so I can get them all ready for later.
All here. They're all set up. Don't worry, I've got them all set up just to stick into the old live stream feed chat room thing. People can click on that and they can access it themselves.
But we need to see. Well, you can show them on yours, can't you? So
I can show.
And I've got the
Chris,
voice things here, so I'm hoping that I've got them all in the right order.
Well, I've got them as well. I should do the same thing. Vocaroo. They found that was rather useful to just uploading all the audios.
I've just downloaded the whole lot, so.
Right. Well, rather than go through my whole life story of 20 years, I thought it would be a lot easier if I just told you about these actual clips, rather than me just seeing boring ghost stories for hours at a time.
Well, what made you start 20 years ago? Because I don't know whether you noticed, but a certain possibly friend of ours gave you a little bit of a credition today. I don't know whether you saw that at all.
No, what? I missed what? When? Who?
Right, okay, let's see if I can find it. It was from a young man by the name of, I think it was Entwistle, Simon. It was either Simon, it was Simon Entwistle, I think.
Yeah.
And he was saying that best in the business is is it Andy Mercer?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Good God. Must have been a regular on a Friday night event or something, I suppose. Must have been.
Must have been. So, but Simon Entwistle does the, what do they call it? Pendle Hill walks and stuff like that.
Okay, right. Oh, well, I've never looked at those, but
yeah, I'm sure it was him that said it. Yes, here we go. It was. I was advertising in the Paranormal Supernatural Network on Facebook.
Right.
His exact words were, Andy Mercer, one of the best in the business. Simon Entwistle, Top Hat Tours.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Simon.
There you go.
That's very nice. Very nice indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, so he obviously knows you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I did so many events, certainly with Paranormal, Bright Nights, and then other companies over the years. I've met hundreds of people, so
yeah.
Possibly from those days, or maybe from John Blackburn, of course, because John and I talk a lot.
Yes.
So, look at that.
Right, well, I've got your message that you sent with all of them in a row, so I'm hoping you're going to do them in that.
Yes, I certainly am.
So that I can check with them on here and see which one I've got to play first.
Right,
okay.
Well, they're not in any particular order, other than the Durrington one.
Right,
which...
so I'll have to check them, because all I've got is numbers and silly letters, so you'll have to bear with me when I have to play them. So anyway, so first of all, Andy, when did you start being involved in the paranormal?
It's a bit of a long story, but I'll try and make it reasonably short. I don't know if you've ever heard me mentioning Andy Collins before, on The Black Alchemist. It was back in the 1980s, early 80s, various strange things were going on sort of in the Essex and Kent southeast area, potentially involving groups carrying out black magic rituals, which all sounds kind of dramatic, but was seeming to be happening. And there was a chap who, they never knew the name of the guy, but he was known as the Black Alchemist, and Andy and a few others have been sort of working to try and determine who this person was and stop whatever he was doing. Andy published his book on the Black Alchemist and was doing a book tour. And he was coming to Basildon to talk about it. And I've been into the occult for absolutely decades, really, really, for a long, long time. So I was interested. And went to Andy's talk, was fascinated by the talk, and he eventually ran a group called EarthQuest that met once a month in Leigh-on-Sea. And that's really how I first got into all this, by going on to the EarthQuest group, which I did for a number of years, and then Andy eventually closed the group down because he was becoming more serious with his writing, more full-time writing, and had some research to do. So that kind of stopped that for a bit. So I did a few bits and bobs with just friends. Back in those days, all we had was very conventional cameras and the old-fashioned tape recorder with the buttons at the front you push down.
Mm-hmm.
Remember those? That was literally all there was to sort of try and record or collect anything. So it was all a bit kind of just sort of a bit fun, really.
That makes you sound so old, Andy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what happened then was I went off, did a job, and then went off to university and spent 3 years studying at university. I forgot about ghosts, etc. And it was not long after I'd finished that I basically was just intrigued to know what happened with Andy Collins and all the other stuff that's going on. One of the other places that got mentioned quite often was a place called Clapham Wood down the south coast.
Oh, yeah.
And I looked up online about what I could find about it, and I found this group called COTC, who'd been investigating Clapham Wood and other areas for a number of years as ghost hunters. This is back in the days before most haunting or anything like that was even on TV.
Yeah.
And I got in contact with them and said, I know a little bit about it, I know Andy Collins, etc. And they said, oh, yeah, come down and join us. So it really started from there, getting back into it in more modern times. And that was probably about 99, 2000. We got back into it more seriously. Of course, by that point, camcorders were around and digital recording equipment was available, expensive but available. And I got picked up a few bits and pieces, a camera and a dictaphone, which I wanted to use for collecting audio recordings. And although, as you know, I do the mediumship stuff I used to, but in terms of ghost hunting, my actual interest is more in the actual phenomenon that I can collect, audio recordings, video recordings, stuff that you can actually show the people, you can show the world, here is evidence of what we've collected. Now, I've collected recordings from all over the country, of hundreds, not thousands of hours of recordings of various bits and bobs, and we always go through as much of it as possible to see what's there. Well, most of the time you think, that might be something, but you're not too sure. But I've kept the ones that I am absolutely convinced that I cannot explain at all what on earth they are. They're all the ones I sent you here. They're all good recordings. They're all inexplicable. And they're the ones I use on a talk I often do at Halloween about ghost hunting, sort of live evidence, if you like, of ghost hunting, rather than just me telling you stories of hours and hours of sitting in the dark, which I could easily do, which would bore the life of everybody because it's not that exciting. Mm-hmm. But I think collecting stuff and being able to let people hear for themselves what I've collected and see for themselves, I think is much more interesting way of doing things.
Right, okay. Well, when you talk about your EVPs, I'll play them. Okay. And then people can hear them.
Right. Now this should be the first one I sent you. Should end NBV.
Okay.
Makes sense?
Yep.
Okay, what this one is, one of the first investigations I did with COTC was a place called Durrington Cemetery, which is literally 5-10 minutes drive from their house. Now, back in these days, before most haunted, anybody could just sort of turn up to the average graveyard and wander around and record for a few hours, and no one took a blind notice of you, because it was just a bunch of weirdos walking around a graveyard at night. So they'd been there several times in the past, and this was the first time I came with them. Now, we stationed ourselves in an area of the graveyard that's apparently the oldest part. It goes back to the 1700s. And one of the other guys, Stuart, had recorded something on video, an audio sound on video, not that long ago, which is quite impressive. It seemed to be a man's voice. And he was filming towards a small collection of trees. And I thought, well, I was just going to stick my dictaphone in those trees for half an hour, just leave it there. So literally, left it in the tree. It must be 50, 60 feet from where we are, so we're too far away for it to be our voices. There are cars around in the background, but there's no one in immediate sight. Now, that was in the dark. It was night time, should I say. It was quite light, a lot of street lighting around, so if there's anyone nearby, you'd see them, because we were looking in the right direction. Anyway, I left the recorder sitting there for about half an hour, and when I collected it, got it back, and listened back, this is what I heard. If you want to play that first clip.
Okay. I'll play it again.
You hear that?
You heard talking? Try it one more time. Sounds like a radio.
The best I can determine is he's saying, "What would you like, bloody thing?" That's all I can make out from it. Most of that kind of noise in the background of the car is not that far away from the road, but most of the recording of half an hour is just those noises. But right in the middle is that voice. What would you like, bloody thing?
I'll try again. Yeah.
It's using audio Adobe analysis to try and really clear up the sound. The best I can make it is, "What would you like, bloody thing?" Not really making an awful lot of sense. But there's absolutely nobody anywhere nearby, apart from us, about 40, 50 feet away. And there it was, this voice. And I was rather pleased with that. That was literally half an hour of recording. I picked that up. So I thought, oh, this is rather interesting. Yeah. So that's really, for me, how it began my own personal fascination with the EVP recordings, the audio sound I can pick up. And carry on doing other investigations and events with COTC, and we ended up doing a week-long tour to various locations about a year or two later. And we went to various places. As I say, I mentioned one of them last week with the bell ringers. You remember we were saying about the bell ringers at the churchyard that freaked the life out of us because we thought, well, no. Well, I'm going to throw you now, Sue, because I need to change the order of these, but I will give you the reference so you know which. Because the collection that we recorded on that week-long tour of some of my best recordings I've picked up. Okay. There's one in particular which I'd like you to have a look at, as well as hear, which is the Mughouse voice, which is the YouTube clip that ends with YIDA.
Right, 2 seconds. If you put the link on,
yeah, I certainly will do.
Then these two can have a look at it. And
yep. And for those who are listening, I am putting the links on the chat room page as I'm talking about them. So if you want to view them yourself, you can.
So let me just.
This is the most interactive show you've ever had.
So let me just find them. If you bear with me.
Yeah.
Not that one. That one.
Yep, that should work.
Oh, I've lost it. I've lost them.
Look at your own live stream chats. It's on there. I just put it on there.
Right, okay.
What you will see is members of COTC sitting down for a séance.
Yeah.
In the glasses, who turns to face the camera, is actually the landlady. You'll hear people talking, including one woman, Stacey, laughing. As I move the camera away from them, you'll hear a man's voice as clear as a bell saying something that is not in English. All we've ever made it out to sound like is Invigan or Inbigan, something like that. But if you listen, it's much clearer than the voices of the people in the room. give you a prompt if you need it. Here we go.
Okay.
As you see, just after the laugh, as you Stacey around the group, you hear a man's voice say, vegan. And that, no one heard it at the time. I certainly didn't hear it, and that one still gives me chills because it's so clear.
Yeah.
Blatantly clear voice. I mean, you could say, oh, it's a radio broadcast or something like that, but it's not. You know, these things, the cameras don't pick up radio broadcasts like that. Not a single spoken words as clear as that. Absolutely, was really quite taken aback by that one. Now, someone's put sounding like earwig in, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're still earwigging. I'm still trying to find it on my computer, to be honest with you.
Right, have the other guys heard it then?
I think so. They're trying to hear it now. So.
And anyone, of course, who's listening in on the chat forum, you'll find the link to the YouTube clip is there.
So I'm just seeing where they are. So.
Watching it, but I can't. So.
Can't quite hear it.
Give you a prompt if you need it. You hear me say, give them a prod if you need it. Stacey laughs. And as I turn towards the bar, you hear vegan.
Yeah. So if you play that again, we can hear it your end.
Alright. Give you a prompt if you need it. Vegan.
That bit, yeah.
That voice.
What's he saying? Earwigging or something?
Vegan. To me, it sounds like vegan, as in the vegan.
Yeah, it sounds like that to me.
Someone suggested it might be Dutch, but I don't know. So this might actually work better. If I'm playing them through my computer with the Skype running, you can hear them, can't you?
Yes.
That's perfectly fine. Everyone else can hear them as well. So if someone on the chat forum can just confirm that they can hear the recordings, we do it that way. Someone saying German, yeah, very clear, Ian. Excellent. So we can work that way. That's much easier.
That's good. They can see them as well on the links.
Yeah, that's good. That makes life a lot easier.
Right, so what was the word again?
Vegan.
Vegan.
Yeah, vegan.
What Emma's trying to do at the moment is she's trying to type that word in, vegan. If she spells it right, see what it comes up with, what it shows.
I've tried it for years.
If she can find anything, it might just if it's German, if it's Dutch, or.
Well, someone suggests the accent sounds
JW
Dutch.
says German.
Pardon? What did you say, Steve?
The Ghostwriter is suggesting German, but as I say, someone who is Dutch heard it and said they don't know what the words are, but the accent sounds Dutch. They didn't know what the words were.
Hell would be German, wouldn't it? If someone was to say Herr, that's usually the German phrase, isn't it? When they call somebody Herr.
What we know is the Mug House itself is something like the 1400s. It's a very old pub.
Yeah.
And it has links to, it's in sort of in the Midlands, it's got links to sort of trading and that kind of business. So it was a site that was regularly visited.
Or Flemish.
Yeah, very possibly. Yeah. I think we say it's not English.
Okay.
Best thing, but that was so that again was one of those recordings you just happened to spot listening through. But what intrigues us is the fact it's so clear. It's clear that anybody's speech, even my speech. When I talk about giving them a prod if they're falling asleep, because that was the joke. But I'm holding the camera, but yet that voice is clearer than mine.
Have you slowed it down? The actual part itself that says that. Have you slowed it down, or to see?
We've done everything you can think of to. I mean, this was back in 2001, so I mean, the number of times it's been analysed and played about with and twiddled with to try and get anything out of it. But that is the original recording. There's no editing. There's no enhancements there at all. It's exactly as it sounded when I recorded it.
Okay.
Anything, Emma?
That's part of the adventures we had of the week long of touring around. Incidentally, one place we did which was absolutely fantastic, and we're still to this day the only group to ever have a paranormal investigation at Boss Castle Witchcraft Museum.
Yeah.
Cornwall, the one that was famously got flooded when the floods happened back in 2005, I think it was. But it was a fantastic place, and so to date, we're the only group that's ever been allowed to investigate in there. The fact that no one was allowed after we did it is a bit worrying, really, but that was a great one. There is actually a very good recording, which unfortunately I can't locate, and I think I may have lost, where the camera is recording the strangest of noises are picked up by the camera during a seance. Again, none of us heard the noises at the time, but it's all sorts of rumbling noises and scratches and bangs, but there's nothing physically happening in the picture. And we are just in the middle of a seance, and at one point during that seance, Stacey, who was a trance medium, absolutely completely freaked out. So that was very strange. Unfortunately, that one's lost. One of those ones that's disappeared into the middle of nowhere.
Just typing that into. Sorry, just typing that.
I have a General Juan Vigon. He was Franco Hitler in Spain.
Oh, blimey.
Germany in the Second World War.
I have a James Herbie Edward Hervigan Memorial Home. He died March 19th, 2014.
Oh, there's going to be links to the Monkhouse pub. That's the question.
Here's one for you, Andy, because I think it was you that did this. General Vigan played an important role in the secret Anglo-German peace discussions. On November 1st, 1700.
Oh, that sounds about like a kind of time frame. That sounds good.
Died without any heirs.
Was his hair fell out?
Yeah. His hair got bigger.
That's right. Yeah.
No, that being said to me and all of us actually. Anyway, let's move on.
Let's move on.
With my bad jokes. The next one I want you to hear is an audio clip. This is on the same tour, as it were.
Yeah.
We were only the second ever group to investigate Woodchester Mansion.
Right.
It's an absolutely incredible location. If you don't know anything about it, first you know anything about it, I'd be bloody amazed, but if anyone doesn't, it's a building in Gloucestershire, in the middle of a valley, that was never finished. It's a Victorian building site. There are various stories about why it was never finished, including some paranormal activity and murder and mayhem and all sorts of strange things, but one actual fact happened was the guy who's having it built basically ran out of money. And because he owned both the tools and the building, the workmen just downed tools and left. But it was never finished. It was never completed. There are some rooms that have been completed afterwards, but a lot of it is just a bit of a shell. It's lain largely dormant for decades until the Woodchester Mansion Trust took over.
Yeah.
Back in the 1980s, I think it was, and gradually began to restore it to something usable. And they've actually got their offices based in the building now. But it was a ghost club who investigated it the year before, and because COTC were quite friendly with what's his name? Robert Snow. He was one of the guys who at the time ran the ghost club. He was able to get us in there, so we did an investigation with them. And it is an incredible place. Now I'm going to play you a clip of part of a seance that was going on, and there is a woman's voice twice in the background. Now this is the full clip, and I've isolated the two occasions where you hear her voice. Okay. Now I know for a fact that it was none of us, and there was nobody in the group with that voice. So have a listen. It's me asking questions to the sort of the atmosphere, if you like, and then this voice wasn't heard at the time, but was certainly picked up by the recording.
Are you playing it or am I?
Now, just a second. It's coming up now. I'll play it. Anybody hear me? Anybody respond, please? Now that's the complete clip. I'll play it again in its entirety. Listen now, the only human voice, if you like, is mine. If you can hear the two occasions, because there are two occasions when someone speaks. Anybody hear me? Anybody respond, please? Okay, can you hear that?
There's somebody whispering, and something like whispering in the background there, like it's a bit like a female or something whispering. That's what
absolutely. The first time is a voice is saying, "I can." I've isolated it, and here it is. In a sec.
Yeah.
You hear her?
Yeah.
The odd thing about it is, in high quality recording, which of course I've got at my end, you can hear there's a distance to the voice. as if they're somewhere else in the building, yet we know everybody was with us. No one had a voice like that. And then slightly later on in the same recording, there is actually a moan, which I've also isolated. It should play now.
Yeah, I heard that.
Play it again. There you go. Both times, same particular sound. So the interesting thing is, we were on the middle corridor, which runs directly above the entrance and then back to the back of the building. And to the left, if you have the front door to you behind you, on your left-hand side is the staircase. And the very place is where people have seen a female figure, a woman. And there you have a woman's voice. So we were rather taken up by it, exactly. I was rather impressed with that little fact that we seem to have captured both her voice responding. And that's the interesting thing. It's not random words. If you listen, I'm saying, can anyone hear me? And the woman's voice says, I can.
It's a very good clip, that. Very good.
So that is actually really quite something. Because I've always been a little bit of the opinion that most of the ghost stuff we encounter really is just recordings playing back. It's not something we're interacting with. But that one defies even my own explanation. It's my bloody recording. As I said, later on is a bit of a moan, as you can hear there. Now, what I'm just quickly doing is I've just realised there's no point me worrying about the downloaded version of these recordings. I can play them directly off of my own actual recording. So just teeing those up for us. So that was, as I say, that was part of that same investigation we carried out around the West Country for a week, which was extremely good fun. It was the middle of February, bloody freezing, but it was a very good time. We really enjoyed it. Now, the next one I'm going to play to you is probably one of the most unusual, shall we say, I've ever recorded. Now, I need to give you a background of this particular recording. This place is called Pevensey Castle. It's down on the south coast. It was just after our little tour around the country, but around about the same kind of time. Now, unfortunately, with this recording, my recorder was switched on to low quality, long record, which I didn't realise I'd done, which is very annoying, so I preferred a shorter, much clearer sound. But I've kept this one because it is really quite something. I'll have to set the scene for you because it's a bit unusual. Pevensey Castle itself is largely in ruin. It's just like there's outside walls and that's pretty much it. But in one corner you have what's called an oubliette, which is a little hole in the ground with like a metal grate across the top of it, which people were basically just sort of thrown down there. It was like even worse than being put in prison. It was just like you go down there to die, basically. And myself and a friend of mine, Rue, were sitting beside it. Now I had my dictaphone beside the hole through the metal grate, and it had a wire coming off. It was a microphone on it, about 20 foot long, lowered down into the hole. Now it wasn't long enough to go right into the hole, and down to the ground, I should say. It was actually suspended in mid-air, and the recorder was sitting there only for a couple of minutes. All of a sudden, it jerked forward as if it was going to fall down the hole. So I sort of jumped forward to grab it, stop it falling down. And at one point, you can hear my friend say, "I thought you were going to fall in." Just very distant in the background, because that's me jumping forward to grab the thing. And I was a bit taken aback for what on earth was that. So when we reeled it back up, the microphone wire back up, and listened to the recording, this is what we heard. I'll play it to you in its entirety, and we can talk about it a bit afterwards. So let's have a go. Let's see if this works. 1 or 2 seconds.
You're saving me a job.
Yeah, it's so scary, didn't do anything. Come on. Oh, here we go. Come on. Sorry guys, it's
alright.
Technology's playing up as usual. Decides this is the very moment it starts to not want to work properly. But it will. It will. Perfect. Try that way around instead.
Well, I'm here if you need me.
It's worth the wait, I promise you. I've had people pull it. Here we are. Right, I'll talk you through it now. That's us talking in the distance, 20 feet away.
Mm-hmm. What?
Exactly.
The laugh.
I'll play a bit again.
It's a male, isn't it? It sounds like a male or something. It's not like a. It does kind of sound sweary. It has got an echo to it. Yeah.
Here we go again. Now listen. Us talking.
It's a profanity word. You've been,
It sounds like that, and when I've slowed it down and tried to clear it up, it does sound like that's exactly what he's saying, the F word. But the interesting thing was that is basically nothing more than a roar.
Yeah.
It is. Now that it happened to be that particular night we had a radio station with us, and the sound engineer had listened to it through his headphone system, and as far as he was concerned, that noise was next to the microphone. There's no two ways about it. When he heard our voices in the distance, and that was next to the microphone, and there's no way into that oubliette. There's no way. The actual sort of bars across the entrance are rusted shut. You can't open them. It's impossible. And yet he said that sound is right next to the microphone, and he pulled his headphones off. It was so loud, and he agreed. It sounds like literally something go "Roar!" and then swear. And then there's a weird, like a howl. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that again, none of those sounds were heard by us. Because you listen carefully then, you can hear Rue saying, I thought you were going to fall in. Because I jumped forward to grab the mic. And it did, for all the world, felt like something tugged back as I pulled the wire up. And that could have caught on something, I don't know. But it felt as if something pulled on that wire. But I'll play that little clip again, because that, for me, is one of my favourites because it's so much going on. So listen again. That's us. You really say, I think we're getting pulled in, and there's us talking. We sound echoey because the sound obviously is going to the microphone, which is down the oubliette. But there's no, you can't get any clearer. It's just a roar, literally a roar. Now we tried to replicate the sound because they say the point is, as you hear that noise, it's because Rue says straight after us, look, we're being pulled in. It's because I've jumped forward to grab the thing because it suddenly started moving. Now we tried the wire back down again and moving the dictaphone backwards and forwards to see if perhaps the movement of the dictaphone had caused the noise. No, nothing at all. No sound because the mic is 20 feet away down the hole. So it's just utterly bizarre. Which, like I say, remains one of my most unusual, because again there was a witness with me to it. It's not someone speaking or anything like that. It's just literally something roaring. It's really quite strange. Yeah. So we really started getting my fascination with these recordings going by this point, you can well imagine. So I think, let me just try this one. This, I think, is the clearing up of the speech immediately afterwards.
Yeah.
There you go. Now we've suggested that might actually be not "oh," but "let go."
Yeah.
Now I know obviously me suggesting it to you now, all hearing "let go, let go." Yeah. My idea is that came immediately after me grabbing the dictaphone, something going down the hole. So it could be something roars and then tells me to let go because I'm trying to back again. You know, time-wise, it kind of all falls into place, which is really unnerving.
Very unnerving.
Yeah, that was so that was good old Pevensey Castle. We've had various event stuff there before, but nothing even like as good as that particular one. One thing that COTC used to do, obviously, like many groups, is go in to investigate claims of supernatural hauntings. And there was a particular pub called the White Horse down in Worthing Way that contacted us about some of the strange things that are going on in their place. And the thing that really brought it to their attention that something very odd was going on was this recording that was actually picked up on a mobile phone. Now, the interesting thing is, it wasn't voicemail, it was an actual dictaphone effect, if you like, that the old mobile phone actually had. We're talking about sort of early 2000, 2001, so the older phones, and built-in mini dictaphones. Now, this girl's voice you're going to hear, so it wasn't us recorded it, but there was nobody in the family who had a voice like this. It was a middle-aged couple who ran the pub. They had an older son who was not around at the time when this recording was made, and this was pretty impressive. Now, this is what was actually on the phone. Now, what happened was that the wife walked from their lounge through the kitchen to one of the bedrooms, and when she went through the kitchen, she noticed the mobile phone that had been switched off was on, and this recording is what was on it. Now, let's get this to work.
Wow.
Now, there's nobody in that family who had a voice like that.
No.
And it seems to be saying, Lord, do I love you, and then something else. Which, at one point, unfortunately I've lost. Well, I had an analysis of that audio recording, and the last part, it actually, if you turn it backwards, sounds like love me. In south backwards, sounded like love me. If you slowed down and reversed it. Rather strange, don't you think? And that was on that same investigation. They had a neon sign at the end of the pub that was in a spare storage room. As I touched it, it lit up, and it wasn't plugged in, wasn't connected to anything, but the sign actually lit up because the pub itself had quite a funny little history to it. It used to be a pub with two small cottages next door to it at the end, and the pub had expanded into one of the two cottages, but the other one had been damaged by a fire upstairs, and so was not actually in use. And most of the activity, the bangs and noises they'd heard, were used to come from that second unused little cottage that was part of the same building, and the kitchen was next to the cottage. And this voice recording was picked up.
And Andy?
Yeah.
Have you noticed what PJ said there?
Unfortunately, I've got to go flip back to the screen.
He said, it sounds like, don't know if you're in there.
I thought it sounds like don't know, but it's like with a Scottish accent. Don't know if you're in there.
It sounds Liverpudlian to me.
Liverpudlian?
Yeah, that.
Don't know if you're in there.
The inflection at the end.
I thought like a Scottish. I don't know if you're in there.
Okay, give me another try. Oh, sorry, wrong recording. Hold on, 2 seconds. All the tunes are open all at once now, so I've got to be careful. Where's it gone? Let's try it one again.
I don't know if you're in there.
Well, we slowed it down, and it does sound like Lord, Do I Love You.
Right, okay.
Incidentally, I sent this recording to Todd, who runs the Paranormal Voices in America. He's been on the show recently. You remember Todd?
Todd Bates.
Yeah, Bates with his surname, was it? Yeah, and he won the EVP of the Month many years ago on his show.
Really?
Yeah. The funny thing was, I sent it to him privately just for him to hear, and he kind of got a bit cross wires and put it in for the competition, and it won. I said, that's great. It wasn't supposed to be in the competition in the first place because it was a private one, but it was a private investigation. But I thought it's over in the States, not really going to know too much, are they? So that was another one of the events I say we did with COTC. Some most interesting recordings. Now, the next ones I'm going to move on to are ones that have come from the other main involvement in the paranormal. That was Fright Nights.
Right.
Although I worked as the medium with them, it's perfectly happy for me to sort of do my little experimentation and see what recordings I could pick up. And one of the locations that I loved going to, as well as Worcester Mansion, was the Galleries of Justice.
Right.
And I bought a new dictaphone and thought I'd try it out on the old voice activation setting to see if I could capture anything.
Yeah.
The recording you're about to hear sounds a bit higgledy-piggledy because it was actually recorded on and off by itself, and the machine would start up then stop. Where it actually took place is over a period of about 40 minutes, with both of us giving a little talk, then we did a meditation session before it started. Now, if you know the Galleries of Justice, the cells themselves are about 2 floors or 3 floors even beneath the main building, the main courtroom. Now, we were all in that courtroom, sort of just chatting and getting ourselves ready for, the room above the courtroom, which is like the meeting room. So it's 3 floors up. Mm-hmm. So there's no way on earth that any of the noises we are making could possibly be picked up by this. Now, what you'll hear, as I say, is actually over a period of 40 minutes, where it's condensed down because the recorder stopped and started by itself. Now, Have a listen to this, as they say. Here we go. There you go. It's a 40 minutes those recordings were picked up. It sounds like doors being banged and there's a scream amongst that sound as well. So unfortunately the quality is not great. I didn't use the phone very many times because it wasn't actually very good quality, and that sort of being set to trigger off the sound was a bit annoying because you get no real sense of the time frame of this. But I'll play it again. Have a listen. Chaos, basically.
It's 5 bangs and a screech.
Yeah, 5 bangs.
Yeah, 5
Could hear murmuring as well. Some murmuring in a.
On subsequent investigations, events that occurred in the galleries, I've tried again with different dictaphones and the same dictaphone the following occasion.
Yeah.
Never got back again. That was the only time.
Do you know when you? Sorry, Andy. Do you know when you wear like footwear with like rubber soles and things like that? You can walk across like tiled floors and things like that. And when you turn, your foot sort of gives a screech. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you can give a screech. It was a sound like that, if you know what I mean. It was at the end like a screech, maybe probably from a footstep or something like that, from a shoe or something.
Well, I'll put the link onto our forum, so other people have a listen at their own leisure, if you like. So there it is. Right. I'll play it again as well. Oh, no, I won't go forward. Anybody hear me? Shut up. There you go. All rather strange.
Definitely.
The last bang was different. There's 5 bangs. The 5th one was different to the previous 4. The 5th one wasn't the same. It's like the previous 4 sounded like, let's say, like doors or cell doors or something slamming shut or some form of door slamming shut.
Yeah.
The 5th one seemed, to me anyway, seemed to have more of a human aspect to it, like more of a human growl or something at the end of it. You know what I mean? So
I mean, if you know the galleries, it was recorded in the corridor where all the cells are.
Yeah, we visited the galleries, galleries of justice some while ago, but it does sound the 5th one sounds different to the other 4. So I would have said, I could be wrong, but what it sounds like to me is that the doors shutting and the 5th one being of a human voice, male voice, and then followed by a screech.
Yeah.
That's how I would interpret it.
Well, certainly, as I say, I've always had suggestions.
Isn't there an open gate down there as well?
Yeah.
Between the cells, it could be that gate doing the screeching.
Yeah.
That's very possible. Yeah, it's very possible.
Because there's one cell, and then you've got that gate, and you have to go through to the others.
See that screech? Yeah. Before that screech actually starts, just before that screech is like a ping.
Yes.
It's like there's like a ping that goes.
I mean, it's very frustrating that I've not got the full 40 minutes. I've only literally got the one that was coming on. So, but the interesting thing was something was going to be happening for the sound to trigger. You know, because it's voice activator, sound activator. So the banging doors must be actually being banged, either hit or moved or what, I don't know. But
Andy? Yeah, PJ said the murmuring could be the tape starting up when it starts to record.
Oh, no, it's digital.
Oh, right. Because he said he's had that in a few invest using tape machine.
Now, these are all digital recorders. I don't think these are all tape ones at all.
Right,
so
okay.
It wasn't, when it's set to digital, it wasn't set to Vox or anything, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
That was a mistake. It wasn't supposed to be.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Because sometimes, obviously, you can get sounds, can't you, in the box, and when it sort of starts off.
Yeah.
But it might just misses that little bit because it's like a fraction of a.
That's it. It's the moment between the actual activation and starting to record. Unfortunately, that's why they were a bit sort of chopped at the start.
Yeah.
But again, as I say, the second time I went there was only a couple of weeks later, and I tried again with the same dictaphone. Nothing. Tried it again with another dictaphone later on. Nothing. It was just that one occasion all these sounds recurred. So quite intriguing.
It's interesting to say the least, because like I say, you've got the 4 sounds followed by the 5th sound, which is different to the 4th, and then you're pinging and then the screeching. So you've got a numerous amount of different sounds in there.
That scream, the one that gets me, it sounds so agonised, absolute screech of horror. It sounds like a man's voice, certainly, I think. I mean, I know that the galleries held both men and women, but that somebody sounds like a man, sort of absolute torment.
Yeah, I'd say male. Yeah.
It wasn't anywhere near the supposed death cell, was it?
It was. That's where it was. It was in the night cell.
Ah.
Yeah. So the recording was actually in there with the door wide open. So.
Okay.
But we move on to another one.
Move on.
Okay. Let me have a look. So I'll do a couple of the ones that are from Coal House Vault. Good old Coal House.
Okay.
Is back in the days when I was now running my own group, IOPR. Did a few investigations in Coal House because it's just down the road. This first one you're going to hear, there are a number of voices in it. It's in the passages underneath the tunnels, they call, where they stored ammunition, and there are about 20 odd rooms down there.
Yeah.
Now what you're going to hear is the medium's voice somewhere ahead, me talking to a woman from Sue who was the organiser of ghost events there, and then this other voice that sounds like a very loud, hoarse whisper. Again, no idea if they're speaking English or what they're speaking, but I'll play it, and we can determine from there what it is we're hearing. Here we go. You hear me say it's him again, because the medium in front is saying this presence is back, and then that sounds like Swami Miguel or something. That's the voice that was not ours. Yeah, the mumbled voice is the medium ahead of us, and it's me say it's him again, and then you get that Swami Miguel. It sounds like. Almost as if he's mocking my voice after I've spoken.
Yeah.
It's sort of uttered like a whisper, and it seems to trail as well. It's like when he says the last bit, it sort of trails.
Exactly, like a heavy whispered voice.
Yeah.
It is quite strange. I'll play it again. I'll just post the link to that voice on the forum so people can also have a click and listen to it themselves. That wasn't the only recording we got from that same night actually at Coal House. It was quite a good one, but as I say, that one's remains a bit of a mystery. Now, those that know Coal House will know that many people have suggested there is some kind of very unpleasant entity that roams the corridors of Coal House underneath, and perhaps that's what we're hearing here is the voice of that.
Yeah.
But it's certainly quite sinister, that whisper. Incidentally, by this point, I've now moved on to using a mini disc recorder, so the quality is now much better all the time because it is fantastic quality on those things.
Yeah.
Actually ideal for this, but it's quite clear that it is a voice. What the hell you're saying, I don't know, but it's certainly a voice. This is the other sound we collected from Coal House. Now, this isn't a voice, this is a noise, but it was the only time I've ever heard this noise on a recording, on my equipment. Never before, never since. And you can tell by the fact that we're chatting away like no one's business that we didn't hear it at the time. So, have a listen. There you have that heavy metal clank.
Yeah. Who's the other breather?
That's me. Not so much heavy as in bloody cold. Because I always had the dictaphone in my media recorder in my pocket, the microphone attached to me, so I was catching me talking and the entire night. It's Sue talking to me, and the clank, no one heard it, but it sounds like heavy metal being hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was none of us heard it. The funny thing was, the room we were in, literally 2 days later, half the roof collapsed. And no one's been in that room since because it's too dangerous now. Just all our fault is falling to pieces. Yeah. But that was it. That voice was there. That clank was there. I'll play it again. Really odd.
Andy, going back to the one before.
Yes.
Not sure of the timeline and stuff, but the back in the day, we were renowned for using Spanish mercenaries, and that, especially when we were fighting the French.
Yeah. Well,
So
one of the possible suggestions is that several people were actually killed when they were constructing Coalhouse Fort. And so you could have a more conventional ghost, if you like, of just someone being dead. But go back to it. Well, it's on the page now, so anyone can actually... Anybody hear it? Oh, wrong one again. Let me just make sure I put that correct voice on so everyone can actually listen to it. Oh, I have, no, that's the right one. Click on. It does sound like something Michaela at the end. I have it's very odd.
San Miguel. San Miguel.
Miguel, please. Yeah. Yeah, well, that was that was one of COTC. IOPR's own events. And I did briefly go back and do a bit of stuff with COTC when they had access to, and I think it still remains exclusive for the little while it was allowed before the management changed again to Hastings Castle in Hastings. Surprisingly, they didn't have very many events there. Again, they were actually asked by the people who were working there to investigate because they knew that we had certain occult links, shall we say. A chap called Charles Walker, who was a member of COTC at the time, he's long since left, but he's been involved in investigating other sort of occult type stuff, which is how I got to him again because he knew Andy Collins. Anyway, the rumour was that some group had been breaking into Hastings Castle and been carrying out rituals in Hastings Castle, and in fact there were definitely fires. The remains of fires have been found that were not to do with the staff or anybody who was visiting it but overnight. So clearly somebody was definitely getting in there. Yeah. So I asked if you wanted to investigate. Now, we didn't get very much on the night, apart from this one recording. You'll hear my voice, you'll hear Stacey's voice, who was laughing earlier, and then another voice saying, "Oh," and whispering something. So have a listen. All the feeling about was me adjusting the microphone at the time, but the and then the whisper afterwards, that's not us speaking. That's Stacey. That's me. Then the and the whispered voice.
Yeah, I thought
bloody hell.
Here it is again. Could be. So could be. It's something whispered after the off. The off was quite loud.
Certainly, it's like a bloody hell at the end of it, and obviously carried on with a bit more. Yeah. But they haven't finished that there. They've carried on a little bit, but it's trailed off, hasn't it?
Now, we were walking from the main entrance towards where one of the fires was. At the time, it was quite early on in the investigation. It was still daylight, actually, at that particular point. We were just kind of setting ourselves up. So, ironically, there was nothing else the entire night apart from that one at the beginning. All these recordings I've heard after the event, by the way. I don't listen to all the investigation. I usually during the week afterwards I listen to them all. I don't know if I mentioned, but I used to work at St Paul's Cathedral. On my lunch break, I was sitting in St Paul's Cathedral listening to recordings of ghosts, which is quite interesting. But I'll play it one more time. Have another listen. So all that whispered, apart from you can hear my voice very brief again, the lower gravelly voice, but the other one is a woman's voice, and it's not Stacey, and it's certainly not me. I'll play it one more time.
Certainly another word bloody there.
Yeah.
Whether it's bloody hell, bloody hot, or something. Certainly
no, there was a bloody hell there. I agree with you.
Well, what I'll do at the end, I'll put all these back onto your page so you can see them all again and listen to them if you want to. I have one more. Now, this isn't an audio recording, this is video. You need to watch this, which I showed Sue earlier, and see if you can spot what's going on. I'll give you a bit of background. It's a place called Elverston Castle. It was the end of the investigation, and we set ourselves up for a seance. Big circle, about 15 of us. Now, the recorded this was clamped to the fireplace. There's a huge fireplace in this room, and it's got all those sort of screw-on clamps that holds it very tight. Now, it wasn't my camera, it was my friend Ian's. It's quite expensive one, so it was on very, very bloody tight, so it wouldn't fall off and get broken. So obviously he was rather concerned. Now, this is edited down. I've taken the beginning of the seance and at the end. Now, not what actually happened in the seance, but it was only when I was analysing it afterwards. I thought, that is strange. Now, here's the video itself. Here's that. I'll put it on YouTube. Well, I should put the clip straight on here so you can watch as well. Oh, hold on. Oh, I've lost the show. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Lost the entire show for a second. Hold on 2 seconds.
Can we have the link so we can see it?
Yeah, I say I've lost the whole bloody page. What's the link?
He lost the page.
Oh, come back, all is forgiven. Where are you? There you are. Come back, all is forgiven. Where are you? There you are. Oh. Where are you? There you are.
Turn that off.
Stop me!
Echo.
Oh no, I'm still going to refresh the pages, come up with the sound on. 2 seconds, I'll get rid of the sound.
Okay.
Give me 2 minutes. Don't speak. That's it. Right, try again.
Technology.
Yeah, that's what we're going so well into it. Right, here we go. Right, this is the clip to watch. No, don't do that to me. There we go. There it is. Click on the clip and watch.
Okay. Incidentally, I'll be putting these on the end of the replay, so the last 2 videos, so you can see them at the end.
Okay, did you notice anything? Apart from the little light that appears, it's just someone's torch. Let me show you the clip at the beginning. I've uploaded the image to a video, a photographic site. Copy. And let me put it on there. If you click onto this link, which I'll put up in a second. Oh, why is it saying we're disconnected? I had this earlier on. It says I'm now disconnected for some unknown reason. Oh, come back to life again. Just talk amongst yourselves for 30 seconds. Did you spot anything in the picture happening?
No.
Not quite.
No, we're not seeing it.
You've not seen the clip, or you haven't seen the what's happening?
We're not seeing what's happening with...
Is there a face?
I mean, you've got the guy turning round.
Right, okay, look at the first photograph. I just put the link on.
Okay, hang on.
You see the back of my friend's head, and he's got a white collar on his dark jumper. And what you're looking at is a very ornate set of mirrors opposite.
Yeah.
The white circles is the light from the behind the camera on the wall, which we then turn off, and then turn all the lights off. And then the second photograph is at the end of the seance, use of a camera that was locked, and I mean very, very tightly locked in place, so it wouldn't fall off. Have a look at the second picture. It's coming in a minute now. It's coming, I promise. Here we are. Look. It's better to see it rather than me explain it, you see.
Yeah.
Okay, camera is in exactly the same place. Sorry, the camera has not been moved by any one of us. Compare the 2 photographs. Side by side.
It's definitely moved.
It's moved, exactly.
Yeah.
It's moved to the right, hasn't it?
Exactly. Now, it was clamped on as tight as anything. It's about 10 feet up, as you can tell by the back of people's heads. And it moved. No one touched it. I mean, it's zero light because it wasn't on infrared or anything, but there was low light in the room. Just not much for the camera, enough for the camera to pick up. And yet, if you picture the picture, you can see it has clearly moved sideways. And yet, it was screwed on so tight, so it didn't fall off. I can't tell you, but yet it has moved sideways. Now, something has to have physically moved that for that to have happened, but yeah, there it is. Rather strange, don't you think? Well, as I say, after doing this for the best part of 20 years, certainly the last 10, 15 years with a lot of technology, these are I consider to be my best clips. There are other stuff, but people said, yeah, that's weird, and I said, no, it's not good enough. I can think of an explanation.
Any form of vibration, like passing vehicles outside?
No, nothing like that. It's set quite away from the main road. But to say that it was clamped on so tight, it wasn't just sort of screwed on by hand. You had this device thing that it's like what they call that, like a clamp, like you get for woodworking, but special with attachment for a camera to go on top of it.
So what I found interesting with it as well is obviously the person there in the thingy picture looked back at the camera.
The one looking very slightly sideways, that's me.
Is that you?
Actually me, yeah.
Looking back at the camera, just obviously before the light goes off, and then when
exactly,
and then. It's moved, it's moved that, so that's quite interesting.
You did it, Andy.
Yeah,
you looked at it.
Yeah, 6 hours. Absolutely, it's as strange as anything. There's just no physical way. I didn't notice it, but it was my friend Ian, whose camera it was, who noticed it. He watched for you just started to notice that. Hang on, that doesn't look quite the same. When we showed it to me, you could clearly see that something was going on there. The camera has somehow moved. It was just clamped in place, solid as anything, because you didn't want it to fall off. It's what those call the twin cold coil camera, which is broadcast quality. It was over 1,000, just like nearly 2,000 quid when he bought it. So it was really high quality. So there you go. That's my collection.
Over 20 years, or 20 years, and that's what you've got.
After covering all that, what would you say was the weirdest thing that's ever happened to you?
Oh, blimey, many things.
Whether it's been caught on camera or not.
Well, there's a clip that I haven't had access to, unfortunately, because I didn't record it, and I've since lost contact with the person who did. Where apparently myself and a guy, Martin Jeffries, who runs Fright Nights, we're in the corridor at the back of Woodchester Mansion, and the person who's at the front is filming the two of us, and we have 3 shadows. There's only one camera, and there's 3 shadows. There's a clear shadow between the two of us. You see us and our shadows behind us, and then between us there's a much bigger shadow of a third person. There's nobody between us and the camera who could generate that one. So that was, but unfortunately I've never seen it. I would say it's been seen by Marty, because the person who recorded it sent it to him, but I never saw it. But that's been the place of all sorts of strange mysteries, where my head disappeared before, I've seemed to have been levitated before, all sorts of fun things like that.
Well, there you go, then, Steve.
Nice one. I
like it.
There's one thing that I heard of happening that I would have loved to have seen on camera.
What was that?
And it was one that Ghost Tours did.
Yeah.
At Peterborough Museum.
Oh yeah.
There's I don't know if you know Ant from Derby Paranormal or not.
But he was a big guy.
He's a big guy. He's as big as me. Maybe bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And this there's him at the back. There's Paul going down the corridor in front of him, and this dark shaped entity just rushed at him.
Whoa!
It hit Paul, and Paul come off his feet and hit Ant, clearing the chest, and they both hit the deck.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
That would have been good to see.
That would have been good to see.
Would have done it, yeah. Definitely would have.
I'm sure.
But they just saw this dark monk-like shape just come charging down the corridor at them.
Well, I've been seen to change physical features before, and again, a seance in Woodchester, of course, wherever else, in the cellar, where I was sitting on a chair, and apparently I was channeling something, and several people said I became much thinner, had long hair, and a big straggly beard. And several people who didn't talk about it at the time, but afterwards said to me this is what they'd seen. You having problems with the mic there, guys? So looks at it.
Yeah, I'm on my second battery.
Use this one.
The cheap Panasonic batteries.
I haven't got no more left.
Absolute rubbish.
Oh dear, that's not too good.
Give me that stand.
No, I'm not giving you my stand.
Yeah. I want it. I want to stand.
It's been very interesting listening to your EVPs and your footage. You know what I mean?
Very.
So,
Good.
are you stopping doing investigations or?
Not stopping. I just don't have the time I used to have, unfortunately, anymore with what with teacher training, and then we're going to be obviously teaching. That's going to take up an awful lot of time.
I know.
do some sort of, obviously on the breaks or what have you. That's one side. I know with teaching generally, the longer you do it, the better you get at. I mean, teaching itself is fine. It's we have to plan all your lessons and that kind of stuff. But what was said to me, the longer you do it, the quicker you get at planning your lessons. You can recycle old lessons, and you will actually have more free time as you go along. But for the first couple of years, it's going to take a little while. So I might not have much involvement, but I haven't had much involvement for a while anyway because of other things. So. And someone seems to be sticking microphones up their armpits, which is really good.
Did you forget about the camera, Chris?
You can have that back now. I did actually. I thought with this timely, Peter. I was trying to.
He wants my mic stand. That's what.
When you get an animal out there, and they rub the scent and they're marking the territory. I was marking that microphone stand there. So I do. I want it.
But he forgot he was on camera at the time.
You should have seen him
earlier. I did. I forgot it was that. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Before we started, he forgot he was on test.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was singing merrily away before for Michaela, doing some. She was. I think she was doing some ghost interviews, weren't you, before Michaela?
Doing some silly stuff.
She's interviewed a poltergeist and a doppelganger so far. I think earlier.
I see.
So, what time did you get back from bingo then, Andy?
Oh, just after 9. We've won some money. It was rather nice.
Did you?
Hey.
Actually, it's quite strange. It's some kind of new thing they do that the entire club wins £10,000.
What?
Unfortunately, there's over 300 of us there, so we've got 28 quid each. Yeah, in fact, it's a new thing they're doing now that they nominate a club, and I said, it's going to be Basildon. And it was. There we go. So.
Does that mean you got 40 odd pounds or nearly 52 quid between you, or 56?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
that's all right then.
Holiday fund.
Because you said you don't play.
I don't know. I give them mainly some of the money towards it. I usually sit and fiddle about my computer. I'm working on stuff for school at the moment, and then obviously watching the show.
So you got £28 for sitting on your bum.
Well, yeah, but I just help pay for the bingo, so.
I don't know.
Yeah, drinks on Andy.
Drinks on Andy.
Yeah, I'll get 1 half pint and a few straws. We could do that.
So, but as always, you've come in and rescued us again.
Oh, no problem at all. I enjoy it. So
I
mean, I've got hundreds of recordings, but as I say, these are the ones that I am absolutely certain I can find no information from. I mean, some of the ones you would say, like, you should keep that one as well and use that. I said, well, no, because it could possibly be X, Y, Z. And I think if there's a microcosm of doubt, then I won't use it. I mean, obviously, I could say I've infected all these. I haven't, obviously, but for my own satisfaction, I cannot explain any of the ones that you've heard or seen today. And of course, do you guys want to see the no, I haven't actually. Gallus Rider, Hangman's Hill. I've never been there, which I like to because I've heard things about it before, but I haven't. But yeah, so.
Oh, thanks very much, Andy, for popping on.
No problem at all.
And saving me a job because it means I don't have to sit there and splice them all into the recording.
No, it's easy enough. Well, yeah, I mean, hear my voice, you hear the sound of the recording. So
so what I will do, though, is I will put the videos on the end of the recording so people can see them. Or if it's okay with you, I can put the links on the YouTube for people to have a look.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I've left them, they're public now. If people find them, they can comment if they want to.
It's only going to be the YouTube ones that I'll put on there because you played the voice ones, so that's not a bad.
Yeah, okay. I mean, obviously, it's only with the Elverston one that's the video anyway, with the moving camera, because the other vegan job from the mug house, you hear it, it just happens to be on video recording, so I've just it on the video.
Well, this is it, so, but again, thank you very much, and all the best to your young lady.
Yes, I shall pass on your regards.
Thank you. Anything
lesson plan.
Fantastic, Andy.
It's been a great
night.
To listen to.
Yeah, fantastic. Some cracking EVP, some very good videos there, some good, stills. But EVP is absolutely phenomenal. It's well done to you there. So, brilliant, fantastic.
And there you go. If you want a clear EVP, get yourself a mini disc recorder.
Absolutely, and you can get them so cheap these days as well, for things like eBay and the like.
Yeah.
As long as you get one that has a recorder setting, as a lot all of them do, a Sharp one and a Sony one that do record, and they are brilliant. And what I've always done is I'll just have the whole thing running.
I've got one somewhere.
Yeah, I used to use one in the early days, a Sony mini disc recorder, and then I don't know what happened to it. A lot of my equipment goes missing.
Yeah,
I lose it. It does honestly. It goes missing. And when I'm in investigations, every time I go on an investigation, I come back with my cases, and
well, I must admit, it's something that we. I
think the ghosts are stocking up ready to investigate.
We give them out, don't we? And we give them out on the protest sort of thing that they'll come back. On the premise that they'll come back. But if they don't come back, you know what I mean? It's us trying to trust them, isn't it, really?
Well, that's the best solution. You don't leave it to anybody.
Well, yeah, that's it. I mean, we just put them out for everybody. But like I just said, I think the ghosts are stocking them up and thinking we're going to investigate people.
Well, we have individual kit boxes. So if there's when they come back, if there's a gap in the box, somebody hasn't collected something.
I think it's at Michaela.
So they know that it's
again.
Yeah.
It's her fault that we had problems with live stream.
Yeah,
tonight,
the dog
wasn't
sitter.
Boxy's
sound asleep in her lap at the moment.
She's got to attach to me the entire night. She never leaves me, so I can't get it.
I don't know. Well, thanks again, Andy, and we'll speak to you again soon.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, and all the best with your new job.
Thank you. I'm sure I'll see you before September. So.
Yes, you will do. You better do.
Yeah, man.
Sure, fine.
Okay. See you later.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
God, but he's been on there for over an hour.
Yes, good. Great to have something so interesting. Right, Chris.
Yes.
This place that PJ was talking about, the brewery.
Three Rivers.
Enlighten us.
Yeah, Three Rivers. It's only little. We've gone back some years ago for that. Three Rivers Brewery in Stockport. Reddish, I think it was. I think it was in Reddish. There was things going on down there. We actually got a picture. I think I'm not so sure if it was Martin Cooper who took the picture. And you got your barrels, and then you got you just had this mist in the air. We got it online there somewhere. You had this mist in the air, and there's a face in this side of the mist, and there's a face in that side of the mist. And I didn't see it at first. Martin pointed it out to me when I looked at it, and I negatised it, and I thought, oh right, it was more than just a face. It was actually a whole body. And it was like Victoria or something, I don't know, Victorian era or something. But PJ had experiences there, as well. But there was all sorts of things that went on. It was
he said there was a male voice to tell him to get out.
Well, that probably just have been me, because everybody was telling him, get out. No, I'm only joking. Yeah, he did it because PJ picked up on a lot of stuff. Because that's what he did when he was on investigations. He picked up on all sorts of stuff, but it really with uncanny accuracy as well.
Yeah.
And he just tell people things. He just come out with things at random, and that was it. And then somebody said, that's quite true. That so but it always picked on him. So if anything was to go on, it would always pick on him. In the days, it always come to him first, which I'm glad, because PJ was like a human shield for us, kept us safe. We just did that back of him, he took it all on.
But he's a big guy, you can all hide behind him.
Oh yeah, he went to light. It's still brilliant days.
I don't know.
Shall we have
Emma
with her tongue twisters?
We're going to have Emma. Come on now. So
we've got all the news right here. Don't go away.
Over to you, Emma.
Okay. The first one is, could big cats be on the prowl on our hills? Police were called to one sighting in Ramsbottom when a resident saw a black jaguar cat, bigger than a fox with a long tail. A second animal, reportedly a large black cat the size of a Labrador dog, was sighted in Helmshire. The revelations come after a Freedom of Information request from the Free Press to Lancashire and Greater Manchester Police. Across the northwest, there have been 35 big cat sightings reported to police in the last 3 years. The Ramsbottom sighting last August, while the Helmshire one dates back to 2011. Danny Bamping, founder of the British Big Cat Society, said he was not surprised by the sightings. He said, I know Helmshire and Ramsbottom well. I only got a video sent to me last week of a supposed panther in the Lancashire area. Danny said he set up the society to scientifically identify, quantify, catalogue and protect the big cats that were freely roaming the countryside. After the Dangerous Animals Act of 1976 banned keeping big cats, rumours sprang up about people setting them loose. Danny said these cats could have come from anyone's private collection. These people may have let them loose back in the 70s. Since then, I think they interbred in the wild, so there may be small animals now. A lot of people don't want to phone the police. Oh, I've lost my link.
Can I butt in on that?
Yeah.
On that one.
Yeah, go ahead.
You said Helmshire there and Ramsbottom.
Yeah.
That's my area. That's where I come from. I come from Rosendale, originally, which is Bacup, Accrington, Rottenstall, Helmshire, and all that. And what you've just been saying there in that story, when I was a kid there, there's a wild animal, a big cat that was seen on the hill right in front of me where I lived. There was a big hill called Seat Naze, and it's a big hill. And I remember the police, they had police lights. There was all sorts. The whole thing was cut off, and it was and people say they thought it was a puma, some puma that's escaped from somewhere, or whatever, and it believed that there was a hole in the thing. And I went up on the hill weeks after to have a look, and they found rabbits, like rabbits or wildlife and things like that, but just the skins as though they've been. So there obviously was something, up there. But that was then. I'm 22 now. I wish. That was then, and also in the same place, and it was just wrong. I won't keep you 2 minutes. In the same place, I remember looking out at the window at the hill, and a great big searchlight, and the hill is high up, and I took you past it. It's pitch black, and I remember a great big searchlight came down from the sky and hit the hill, and it shone the whole way for the up and down the hill. It was too fast to be anything, and it disappeared. Nobody ever knew what that was. Nobody ever knew what this was. But I remember just shutting them off at with that big cat thing, because we was all told not to leave the house.
Well, yeah, I mean, Danny said these cats could come from someone's private collection. These people may have let them loose back in the 70s. Since then, I think they interbred in the wild, so they may be small animals now. A lot of people don't want to phone the police because if they do, they might be ridiculed. He added, police investigating shouldn't be going in with guns but tranquilizer darts with the right drugs and someone from a wildlife park. So,
yeah, there's quite a few
totally agree.
sightings, I must admit, across the country. Okay, what's next?
Okay, the next one.
Andy's going to love this one.
Oh, yeah.
We have ex-CIA pilot gives sworn testimony that no planes hit the Twin Towers. John Lear, the son of Learjet inventor, shocking claims. So a former CIA agent and CIA and civilian pilot has sworn an affidavit stating that no planes flew into the Twin Towers, as it would have been physically impossible. John Lear, the son of Learjet inventor Bill Lear, has given his expert evidence that it would have been physically impossible for a Boeing 767 like flights AA11 and UA-175 to have hit the Twin Towers on 9/11, particularly when flown by inexperienced pilots. No Boeing 767 airliners hit the Twin Towers, as fraudulently alleged by the government, media, and its NIST and its contractors, he stated in the affidavit. Such crashes did not occur because they are physically impossible, as depicted, for the following reasons. In the case of the UAL-175 going into the South Tower, a real Boeing 767 would have begun telescoping when the nose hit the 14-inch steel columns, which are 39 inches on centre. The vertical and horizontal tail would have instantaneously separated from the aircraft, hit the steel box columns and fallen to the ground. The engines, when impacting the steel columns, would have maintained their general shape and either fallen to the ground or have been recovered in the debris of the collapsed building. No Boeing could attain a speed of 540 miles per hour at 1,000 feet above sea level. Parasite drag doubles with velocity, and parasite power cubes with velocity. So, there's a few other points there. A fan portion of the engine is not designed to accept the volume of dense air at that altitude and speed. A piece of alleged external fuselage containing 3 or 4 window cutouts is inconsistent with an airplane that hit 14-inch steel box columns placed over 500 miles per hour. It would have crumpled. No significant parts of the Boeing 767 or engine could have penetrated the 16-inch steel columns and 37 feet beyond the massive core of the tower without part of it falling to the ground. The debris of the collapse should have contained massive sections of the Boeing 767, including 3 engine cores weighing approximately 9,000 pounds apiece, which could not have been hidden. Yet there is no evidence of any of these massive structural components from either the 767 at the World Trade Center. such complete disappearances of the 767 is impossible.
There's a theory about that. Can I interrupt you again?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, there's a theory about that, about the Twin Towers. That they reckon that in the years and years gone by, in like the Cold War and things like that, they reckon that they had like sleeping agents, like agents, and when they was given sort of code words and things like that to wake them up and put them out, and these agents would be sent off to America or wherever, and they'd live their normal lives, totally forgetting who they were, what they was doing, and then what it was believed, or one of the conspiracies, is that they was reactivated and given a cold word and what these agents did, do you remember the days of the suitcase bombings and all that and things like that? Because and they reckon that it's a possibility that one of these or some of these agents actually went and put a suitcase bomb in the bottom in the towers, because when the towers went up, the heat register, when it registered, was the core was at the bottom of the tower. It was the heat was absolutely unbelievable. There should not have been that amount of heat emanating from the bottom of the tower when the plane at the top. Also, when the plane at the top, it wouldn't have just collapsed like that. It would have smashed the top. Of course it would, but it wouldn't have just collapsed within itself. No. So the foundations,
the central core should have held.
Yeah, it was exploded from the foundations to bring it down, and like Emma just said, you got 14 to 16 inch square steel girders. They're there obviously to withstand storms, to move, and things like earthquakes or anything like that. It would not just have collapsed down. So when they did the test on the heat ratio, the heat significance was from the bottom, so they was actually blown from the bottom outwards.
Well, we all saw a plane hit the second tower.
Yeah,
we saw it actually happen, supposedly live, right? So from the distance we saw it, it wasn't necessarily a Boeing. It could have been a smaller jet.
Yeah,
but that begs the question: what happened to all the supposed passengers on the Boeing that are supposed to have hit?
Well, this is it. I actually caught a clip of something,
and if this guy's right, could it have even been a pre-recording that was put out to the media?
Yeah.
When it was actually bombed and not planed.
I caught something on Facebook that somebody was saying it was a CGI.
I saw that holographic.
Yeah. Holographic.
People on the streets who,
it's easy to do for people who know, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like when the first one hit, nobody actually probably saw the first one hitting until
they wouldn't.
What the hell? But when the second one came in, wasn't there reports of people saying I actually saw the plane hit, or do you think that they would? The people actually see the plane hit themselves.
If it was holographic and it was able to be, I don't know.
I believe it's a conspiracy.
At the end of the day, the people that you're describing could just as easily been working for the government.
Yeah, they could be. One for also one that's not just the Twin Towers, but there was one that I saw the Pentagon. And things like that. And I thought about what did they need to do when that's happened? If they have things that they need to get rid of, I'm not saying that that's the case, but in conspiracy theories, they have files and things that may need to be disappeared. They have to be disappeared, and they can't just disappear like that because it's all accounted for on computers, and people will be asking questions. What better way to get rid of them than blow it up? But now, what about the third one? I've got the film Flight 96. I've got the film at home. This plane was flying over, and it's believed that it's heading towards the White House. Some conspiracy people, they reckon that
Flight 93, you mean?
93. Yeah, I've got that.
Yeah, we've got it.
Brilliant film. Yeah, brilliant film. But what they're getting the story from the passengers on the inside when nobody really knows that. And they reckon that it was either shot down, but when the plane hit the ground and it's disappeared, they've never found any of the wreckage. There's a hole in the ground, and it bounced off into the woods. It sort of swerved over, banked off. Where's the wreckage? No wreckage from any of the planes. That that signifies all them planes. So you got there's 4 planes in total. There's no wreckage. There's not even one. Of all the wreckage, it wouldn't even build half a plane. The wreckage.
Yeah. On top of that, planes would have been scrambled.
Yeah.
And they wasn't.
Well, PJ just said
they were scrambled, but they were scrambled a good 5 minutes after, and they should have been scrambled before that. It should only take 2 minutes to scramble a plane.
Well, PJ just said that the Pentagon one was actually a missile, not a plane, as reported. But then again, it's all going to be conspiracy theories, isn't it? Really,
it is, because the government's already made its stand.
Yeah,
and and some would say they've been saying it. They've bombed themselves for ages because they wanted to get in with into and get the oil and stuff.
We're going to blame obviously the East community. Oh, that was like a propaganda. So for us to then they'll constantly show videos of the East burning American flags and things like that, calling them the White Devils, but they make a point of showing that propaganda, the news points, but they don't show any other point. I don't think personally that I think that obviously Muslims are a peaceful race anyway. They are a peaceful race. Every culture's got its own terrorists and things like that. British people, everybody. But I think that I know quite a few Muslims actually, and they are very peaceful anyway. And I think it's probably too peaceful for the American people, Americans. And no offense to anybody out there in America, by the way. It's just propaganda where it's actually to create. What politicians are like, create wars. For money, oil, whatever the case is. But I think it's disastrous if it does ever come to light that it was a conspiracy. All those people, not in the towers that really died for real. And the firemen,
is Andy coming back?
Emergency services.
Yes, Andy.
Hello.
I told him he was like this.
Can't get the forum bit to bloody work at the moment. I keep saying I'm disconnected. I'm going with a dissenting voice here, guys. Sorry, Al Qaeda responsible for that. It's as advertised. I don't believe any conspiracies to do with it, I'm afraid.
Okay.
I find the whole thing quite fascinating, but no, I do believe that there were 2 aircraft that were crashed into those buildings, and I mean, it makes some Americans fundamentally stupid, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why these conspiracy theories exist, because they can't accept the possibility that something as dramatic as that could have happened, and they're watching without them realising.
Yeah.
Not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times. And the American security's got to be higher than that. So for one tower to go up by an airplane, and then shortly after, and nobody bats an eyelid and think what's going on. You don't even start to evacuate the next tower. Suddenly the next tower's gone. Bang. Then the Pentagon, and then there's another one on the way. To me, I think that's 4 aircraft, all flown maybe by people who have no training whatsoever, hardly any training in flying an aircraft, but yet they've all managed to get these aircraft all through security.
And
they're flying to.
Well, all they had to learn to do was to steer the plane. Didn't have to do anything else.
Exactly, but
difficult.
They would have been on radar. Now, obviously, if they're flying that low over New York, where the Twin Towers are, obviously, it's that they could have been, they could have been taken down. They could have been jumped. There could have been anything to save, to stop that from happening. Because obviously, it would have been a lot easier to destroy an aircraft in the air, and obviously, it would have caused a few deaths maybe on the ground floor, but it would have saved the amount of destruction for the 2 towers going down and the amount of people that.
The thing is, there's a couple of important problems here.
As John said, it took 1 hour and 45 minutes for the Yanks to scramble any jets.
Yeah.
And to answer...
I mean, if that had happened in this country alone, the moment one went, the jets would have been up in seconds.
And to answer Bill's question, I think, if I remember rightly, Building 7 was affected by the tremor of the actual towers coming down, and it boggled up the foundation.
Yeah, that's why Building 7 went down, yeah.
Explain the building falling. Sorry. How did they explain the massive heat surge from the bottom of both buildings, which is more inclined to have been caused by some form of explosive device in the bottom of the buildings?
Well, let me tackle one point you're making that's important. Those buildings were designed to collapse that way. Because of the height and size of them, they had to be designed in such a way as that if there was a problem or catastrophe, they would go straight down, not sideways.
But if something was to hit the top, obviously they're built with 14 to 16 inch steel structures. If something had hit the top, obviously it would have damaged the top of the building. It wouldn't have done anything to the foundation.
It wouldn't have reached
for them to just drop and crumble. Like,
well, it's designed to take the impact of a plane weighing up to 100 tons at 100 miles an hour. That was in the design plan. So unfortunately, those planes weighed 300 tons and would go 300 miles an hour.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Apparently 500 miles.
But these aircraft are not designed to travel at that speed at that low altitude because the engines couldn't accept the air intake at that
Well, of course not, but they didn't care about that. They were just going to crash the damn thing, so they didn't care if they would fly or not.
Exactly, but this is where the conspiracy theories go, is that the airplanes it would have been impossible to have met the target at that airspeed, at that low, at that low altitude. To cause that destruction, they would have had to have been travelling at a certain velocity at that speed for that to go. And them type of aircraft, it would have been an impossibility, according to the CIA. And there was a pilot from the CIA with more.
It's called to one rogue element, and not this, not one rogue element.
Well, they would. But the statistics, scientific statistics, would turn around and say it's virtually impossible. But I mean, not just once, but twice, for both towers to be hit by aircraft that could not do that amount of damage because they couldn't travel at that speed at that altitude.
They would have had to been flying higher and faster and then dropping to hit the target. But on what we saw, they were flying level.
But if there was that degree of scientific evidence to suggest it was impossible, then it would be a much greater outcry than we have now. Because you have scientists coming forward and saying, en masse, it's impossible. It couldn't have happened that way. But it doesn't happen.
Well, they would. But what politicians?
I mean, they've been saying for years, "Where's the bloody engines?" They still haven't found them.
Well, exactly. There's, when the one hit the floor, scientists, politicians, they all work together. Your security agencies and the politicians that run the countries, they work together. I mean, sometimes the security agencies may be responsible for doing things where the actual government are unaware of it and things like that. Now, when the one that hit the ground came down and hit the ground and all these passengers on it, and they're thinking, where's the wreckage? There's no wreckage whatsoever, and they couldn't understand why they couldn't find any wreckage for this.
Well, there was pictures of some wreckage. But
3 engines,
but not as much as what they should have been.
Two towers go down, each hit with an aircraft. Each, as Emma said before, each of those aircraft contains.
Come back a minute. We're saying there's not much as there should have been. How do we know how much there should be? How many planes have we observed being crashed like that? How many times have planes like that been crashed?
Well, just look at the mess that Concorde made when it went down.
Yeah, but that was a slow, gradual fall from the sky on fire. It's a little bit different to being literally crashed into the ground at high speed.
Each of those aircraft contain 3 engines.
A lot of it would disintegrate, admittedly, because of the speed and the velocity that they hit the ground.
Exactly, Steve.
But there should still be at least 1 engine left.
There's 3 engines.
They wouldn't all disappear.
£9,000 per engine. Them engines. Yep. What would have happened? That airplane would have hit them. A telescopic effect would have happened where it would have concertinaed. The tail end would have snapped off, and them engines would have dropped
thousands of degrees, which would have been at the metal melts and this completely.
There would have been some form of evidence. I mean, you wouldn't have
an
engine block doesn't melt.
These weren't airplanes. What were they?
Sorry.
Apparently
they were Boeings. Apparently
they were supposed to be Boeing 767s.
Yeah, okay, but if you're saying they're not, that isn't happened the way it appears to have happened, what happened?
Well, when they found a structure, part of a structure of an aircraft with about 3 or 4 windows in it, and it was perfectly straight, that would have been shattered. It wouldn't have been straight. It would have been concertina. According to the statistics that they say how it happened. If it was travelling at that velocity, there wouldn't have been anything left. Like you've just said, it would have been incinerated.
There wouldn't
have been anything there.
You see, that is the main problem. They're giving stats as facts, and they're obviously not, because there's too many people saying, well, where's this and where's that, and it gets pushed onto the leading, oh, you're just a freak, you're just conspiracy theorist, and nobody takes it seriously. And it's about time we did, because it's been proven on more than one occasion that the Americans are quite willing to kill their own people to get to their end.
The CIA,
they bloody kill ours.
Well, the CIA know more what goes on in their own country than what the actual government do. Things like that. And it's actually the CIA, ex-CIA pilot, who's coming forward and saying that all this is actually a load of crud.
Off notoriety.
Well, I mean, the subject that you covered, Andy, on the show at JFK.
Ah, that's a very different kind of thing.
I mean, you got CIA agents coming forward and saying, yes, we shot him.
Yeah, but that was in a very different time. That was the 1960s, and the idea of them killing one person, their own president, is not quite the same as killing 10,000 people and 4 aircraft. It's a world of difference.
But how many times have they done it before?
At that scale, never.
Well, to get 1 aircraft through, they managed it. To get 2 aircraft to do that, we're lucky. Yeah. To get 3 aircraft, to get anywhere near, and to hit the Pentagon as well, to get there. I mean, where was security? After this has happened, where's national security? Yeah. To get 4 through, they might as well shut all security off and all gone to sleep for this to happen.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think the old CIA having to go out the live stream at the moment, so you bloody well keep crashing.
We don't care, we're going to get it out there.
You started a bloody I knew he'd come up.
He's reloaded. He's reloaded.
Yes. Steve caused the war. He knew he'd get that Andy wound up.
Sorry about this. I've interrupted
No, it's fine.
Wind you up and you're off in you, Andy.
Absolutely.
I knew Andy was of that one. I said, didn't I?
I've had this debate with people for a long time. I mean, I'm into the paranormal, supernatural, that stuff, but no. So 9/11 to me is as advertised. It made America look incredibly stupid and very, very naive and very, very short-sighted in what they believed that they were safe on the other side of the world. The fact is, they weren't.
Yeah, I'm more inclined to believe that it was the smaller planes that hit it, and there was explosions actually in the towers.
But,
yeah, that would make more sense to me.
Now there's a name I've never
heard
heard
before. Where are all the people that were on the planes? Where are they? Did they mass murder them somewhere quietly in a dark corner somewhere?
Well,
they're not made up people. They're not made up people. They've had their families. They've been on various programs. We're talking about ordinary average Joes. I mean, 24 of them were English, I think it was, that were actually in the towers. Where are these people gone?
We've got a new name in the chat room, and it said, after years of reflection, it is without doubt the American government knew about September 11th long before it happened. Welcome to the chat room. Welcome to the show, whoever you are. But that's what Viscount's 4 said.
Well, yep, you can say that right. Don't agree.
Okay. Right, we're going to go on to the next subject.
Okay, what's the next one?
Aliens.
Aliens. Do you want to stay there, Andy?
They were the ones that did it.
Go on.
Do me a favour, let this phone line contact open because I keep losing you.
Yes, okay. No problem. Leave it open.
Okay.
Right, what's next?
Have aliens already visited Earth? NASA book suggests that ancient rock art could have been created by extraterrestrials. A new book details the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, that's SETI. In it, the authors discuss the methods through which they might find aliens. These include searching for signs of life on planets or finding messages. The book details some of the challenges ahead for making first contact, but ultimately the authors say it is something that might happen one day. Each month a new planet is discovered that bears similarities to our own, and it's become increasingly apparent that Earth is not unique. So it stands to reason that of the billions of Earth-like planets in our galaxy alone, there might be another that hosts life. It's a thought that is gaining more credence all the time, and now NASA has released a fascinating book detailing how, or if, we might communicate with some of these worlds. Some of the most interesting chapters tackle the issue of alien communication in the past, present and future. In one section, for example, William Edmondson from the University of Birmingham considers the possibility that rock art on Earth is of extraterrestrial origin. We can say little, if anything, about what these patterns signify, why they were cut into the rocks, or who created them, he writes. For all intents and purposes, they might have been made by aliens. The book is titled Archaeology, Anthropology, and Interstellar Communication. It was edited for NASA by Douglas Baycock, Director of Interstellar Message Composition at the SETI Institute. With help of other experts, he tackles a number of topics, including the prospect of life on other planets, and the means through which we might send or receive messages.
Okay, that was that one. What's next?
Okay, I'm just scrolling down.
I will. I'll go and get it. 1 second. I'll stick it up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Personally speaking, I have no problem with the idea that we've visited in the past by aliens.
Have you not?
No, me neither. I think it's more than likely, personally.
Yeah. Well, those millions of years that life has been bouncing around this planet, tens of thousands of years that we've been compos mentis, if you like, we've been cognizant of ourselves and had thought processes beyond the sort of animal level, if you like, then yeah, absolutely no reason why not all that time that something's come visiting. But it's an interesting point, and it's made time and time again, and again, I guess they're reading out that made the same point. There seems to be a mix-up between the idea that there is life out there and life's visited us. You know, I don't think there'll be many people who would argue that there's no life out there, but what if it's come to visit us? You know, I hear that these people say, "Oh yeah, aliens have been here, UFOs have landed." You'd be daft to think that we're alone in the universe. Definitely. But that's not the question. You know, we could be teeming with life out there that's never been here. You know, so they're often this one does not necessarily explain the other one. But personally speaking, big fan of that Ancient Aliens TV series. I've seen the whole lot.
Yeah.
Up till the most recent ones, about 9 seasons of it. I mean, there's just too much evidence that something's come here before. Now, some of that stuff you look at and think that's a load of nonsense, but there's just too much of it. The sheer volume of evidence suggests that something has come here at some point in the distant past, without a doubt.
Definitely.
I'll shut up now.
Right, what's next then?
Okay, next is Prince Harry's girlfriend haunted by the ghost of his mother, Princess Diana.
Ooh.
Prince Harry's girlfriend recently broke up with him because she claims to have been haunted by the ghost of his late mother. The couple split up last month, the Daily Star reported today. Cressida, I think it's Cressida, I don't know if you pronounce it like
Cressida?
that. Cressida. Rhodes decided to end her relationship with Prince Harry because she was afraid that if she married the prince, she would end up in a divorce, just like his parents, Prince Charles and Princess Diana. Her mother, Lady Mary Gay-Curzon, has also been divorced 4 times. According to the 25-year-old, she wanted a happily ever after wedding. Poor Cressida is terrified that if she married Harry, there wouldn't be a happy ever after, a friend of the royal family said about the couple. She also wanted to move in with the 29-year-old prince while they were together, but the couple ended up not living together because the Queen wouldn't have allowed it. Prince Harry isn't the only royal that ghosts are drawn to. Prince William and Kate Middleton are also seen to be haunted by spirits. Their son Prince George is apparently sharing a room with 3 royal ghosts. According to an insider, the 9-month-old new nursery in Kensington Palace is allegedly haunted. Prince George's nursery is located in the newly renovated apartment 1A of the Kensington Palace, and according to royal biographer Andrew Morton, there have been many ghost sightings in the room over the years. Morton claims that the room is notorious for ghost sightings. According to him, deceased royals George II, Carolina Brunswick, and Princess Sophia's ghosts have all been witnessed in the room. Princess Margaret's housekeeper told her that she saw a woman in a Regency dress suddenly appear in front of her, then vanish through a wall. So let's hope little Prince George can sleep peacefully in his cot at night, Morton said.
Going back to Cressida, I think that's more about being not so much the princess ghost, but more
haunted by the memory of her.
The memory of the divorces, I think, more than anything else.
Yeah, I think so.
Them, her mother, and everybody else. I think it's more about that.
That's a very powerful memory that's lasting.
Our new listener said, "Oh, please, what a crock of crap. If the marriage is going to work and they want it to work, it will," which I actually believe.
Yes.
Using a ghost to break up is so shallow and lame. Yes, I agree with that. I agree. Definitely.
It's a lame excuse.
Definitely a lame excuse.
Yes. What else do we have?
Okay. Biggest dinosaur ever discovered. A new species of titanosaur unearthed in Argentina is the largest animal ever to walk the earth, paleontologists say. Fossilized bones of a dinosaur believed to be the largest creature ever to walk the earth have been unearthed in Argentina. Based on its huge thigh bones, it was 40 metres, which is 130 foot long, and 20 metres, 65 foot tall. Weighing in at 77 tons, it was as heavy as 14 African elephants, and 7 tons heavier than the previous record holder. Scientists believe that this is a new species of titanosaur, an enormous herbivore dating from the late Cretaceous period. A local farm worker first stumbled upon the remains in the desert near La Flecha, around 250 kilometers west of Trelew, Patagonia. The fossils were then excavated by a team of paleontologists from the Museum of Paleontology, Egidio Ferruglio, led by Dr. Jose Luis Carb. Steve!
I did say you got some tongue twisters.
Like some names that I can't pronounce. They unearthed the partial skeletons of 7 individuals, around 150 bones in total, all in remarkable condition. A film crew from the BBC Natural History Unit was there to capture the moment the scientists realised exactly how big their discovery was. By measuring the circumference of the largest femur thigh bone, they calculated the animal weighed around 77 tons. Given the size of these bones, which surpassed any of the previously known giant animals, the new dinosaur is the largest animal known that walked the earth, the researchers told the BBC News.
Okay, and I think that name was Dr. Jose Luis Carballido. And Dr. Diego Paul.
Is that it? Or is there one more?
There is one more. We've got time for more. Okay. Has the skeleton of legendary devil dog Black Shuck, who terrorised the 16th century East Anglia, been uncovered? Folklore tells of 7-foot hellhound with flaming eyes. According to folklore, Black Shuck terrorised East Anglia in the 16th century. He towered at 7 feet tall with flaming red eyes and shaggy black hair. Now remains of the legendary hound may have been unearthed during a dig. Bones found by archaeologists among the ruins at Leiston Abbey in Suffolk. They belong to a male dog standing at 7 feet tall and weighing 200 pounds. Experts are currently carrying out radiocarbon dating tests on remains. It roamed the countryside, spreading death and terror, a giant, ferocious hellhound with flaming eyes and savage claws. For centuries, the beast that came to be known as Black Shuck struck fear into the hearts of all those who crossed its path. Just a single glimpse was enough to impart a fatal curse, the briefest encounter sufficient to suck the life from any hapless victim. One thing, however, has always been absent from the many tales of the dog-like entity and its sinister appearances in the east of England flatlands, a single fact. Now that may be about to change with an answer to the question, did it exist only in folklore, or was it flesh and blood?
If you click on that link, you see a picture of the skeleton there. That's quite a big dog, and there's a interpretation of what it looks like. I don't know why they give it a human-like face.
Don't know.
It does, doesn't it?
So, what do you think, Andy?
Well, I've just seen the shot of the dinosaur bone. It's incredible size. I don't know about the dog though. Well, yeah. Who drew that? It's awful.
Well, Viscount said folklore is based on men leaving the pub late when they should have already been home, so make stories up to justify why they were late home. I like that.
Sorry, missus, that was late home. This big black dog chased me through the woods.
A big black dog.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I've heard of it.
Black Shuck.
I have heard of it before because I'm very much interested in folklore and legends of the South East where I live. So.
Well, that was the news. So,
that picture was pretty dreadful.
Coming soon.
Anyway.
Right, I'll tell you what's coming soon. And next week, we have a young lady coming on. And she is booked, and she's excited and looking forward to it. Her name is Carrie. Hold on, I'll pronounce it properly in a minute. Her name is.
Put your teeth in, girl.
Carrie. Let me just find her name again. Carrie Tratham. Okay, and Carrie had a terrifying experience while flying through the Bermuda Triangle.
Ooh.
An experience that totally changed her conception of the mysteries of our planet. And she's going to tell us about her journey through the Bermuda Triangle I think it was 95.
Yeah, I think she's actually written a book about it.
She's written a book about it as well. So she's going to tell us all about it. I've heard the story before because she actually came on Zone Unknown, didn't she?
She did.
And it's really an interesting topic and an interesting experience that she went through. And that's next week. What do you think, Andy?
It sounds fascinating, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. But she's going to tell us all about that, and also, as I say, she's written a book about it as well, and she's been in numerous documentaries as well.
She's been inundated with stuff to do.
National History, Planet, Living, whatever, Geographic, and all that lot about it. So yes, it is a very interesting topic. And an interesting story, isn't it, Steve?
Yes, it is.
When she tells you about it.
From what I remember, she was actually lucky to survive.
She was, yeah. So,
to get down again.
But that's all we're going to tell you. You can find out next week, and hopefully be online to ask questions. So, hey, Andy. Anyway, that's about it for tonight. So, thank you again, Andy.
No problem.
Yeah, and we actually made it past 11, Andy.
Yeah, for you.
You don't have quarter past. I have to figure something else to talk about next time I come on.
Thank you to Chris.
Hey, you're welcome anytime. Thanks very much.
And welcome, Michaela.
And to Michaela. And also
of course,
our
observations reader. There's get tongue-tied as our Emma.
So, don't forget, you know where we are?
This is where it's at.
Every Sunday night at 8 p.m. on www.ktpf.com. And while we're all online, why don't we just say it all together? Until next time, keep the paranormal friendly.
Good night, guys.
Good night and God bless.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
To see in the night, to measure the spike, to see how cold it's been. I buy my kit so I won't forget the ghosties that I have seen. The Paranormal Intelligence Gathering Services Ghost Store. So visit www.the-pigs.co.uk/ghost store. To see in the night, to measure the spike, to see how cold it's been. I buy my kit so I won't forget the ghosties that I have seen. The Paranormal Intelligence Gathering Services Ghost Store. So visit www.the-pigs.co.uk/ghost store.